Oh my God. It's early. 4 o'clock early. But looks like it's time to get up, get a wriggle on in a moment.
Hi, I'm Richard, ex-racer and now presenter for GMBN. Today is the 20th of June, it's the longest day of the year, and I'm planning on riding my bike from dusk till dawn. Now, during my time racing and since starting with GMBN, I've done some pretty crazy things on a bike. However, a 16-hour ride, that's new to me. If all goes well, this will be the longest ride I've ever done. In the past, Neil has done a few of these epic endurance rides. In fact, he's a dab hand at it. A couple of years ago, he did Summer Solstice, 100 miles on the South Downs, and later did Winter Solstice in North Wales. That's 16 hours riding at night. Considering the global situation at the moment, today I'm going to keep things close to home. My quest is simple. How many miles can I ride off-road during daylight? Using Komoot, I've planned a loop in the Mendips Hills. To keep things interesting, I've included a variety of terrain en route. Fire tracks, exposed bridleways, woodland single track, rocks, roots, you name it. It's roughly 6 miles long and it's got about 560 feet of climbing, plus the descending of course. Needless to say, 16 hours of this is gonna be tough. So, how have I prepared for this epic? Well, I've bought some food, I've bought some more food, and I've stuffed a lot of food in my face. But I've also found the right tool for the job. So, my trusty steed for this rather epic of rides is this. It's a Canyon Neuron, size large. I've made a few mods to it. It's got E13 XCX wheels on it and Vittoria XC casing tyres on it, trying to keep the weight down and the speeds high. I don't like to take a backpack, and I'm not going to ride with a backpack on the majority of this ride. I'm going to have a lot of stuff stashed away. So on the bike, I've got the essentials to fix it with. So there's a tube, tyre lever, multi-tool, canisters. They're all on there to keep me going should I have any small mechanicals. And if anything more major were to happen, well, then we've got stuff in the backpack at sort of our little HQ base camp that we're going to be passing on most of the laps. This is a 130mm travel trail bike, so it should be ideal for all day. Good for comfort, and it's not too heavy, even better. Anyway, enough rambling, it's time to crack on. Okay, we're heading out. This is the first of many laps. Summer solstice, and the weather is not summery. It is raining. I'm in trousers and a coat in the middle of June. But I'm pretty enthusiastic, I'm keen, and I'm looking forward to the day ahead. Whether this mood stays the same, we shall have to find out, but it's all good. Looks like someone had a good night last night. Just riding along, it's 5 in the morning, and there's a pair of red high heel boots just leaning against the gate. They're really high, so what happens in Somerset stays in Somerset. Lord, let's hope I don't bump into them. Maybe I should. Today is minimal stopping without maximal speed, if that makes sense. So we're gonna make sure I don't go too fast, as it's not even a marathon but a sprint, it's many marathons. I know like what heart rate I can hold up for a long time, so I'm just gonna stick to that regardless of speed, and we'll just see how we go. Oh. Ta-da! Welcome to the highest point in the Mendips. We're just over 1,000 feet tall. It's the third time I've seen this beautiful trig point today. And now you can finally see some landmarks as well, actually. That's Chew Valley Lake. If we go that way, it's Bristol. Behind you is Wales. And then we got Quantox. Oh, don't look that way, it's horrible. Let's hope it's going that way. It's blue that way. And that way is where I'm headed. Tally-ho! beauty, opted for XC tyres. It's pretty rocky up here, so you do have to rein it in a little, just to be on the safe side, because punctures are no fun for anybody. Pretty muddy through here. Holy crap. What's up, buddy? Oh, I think that's the one that eyed me off earlier. Both mind and body are good. I've made sure I've fueled and drank a lot and regularly, because from racing I learned as soon as you dip into the red, it's hard to get out of it. Well, impossible really. Overpacking is underrated. More is more. Hey dude, alright?
Eat it.
We're 51 miles in, just peaked past the 6 hour mark. And I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty good actually. Brain and body is both working all right still. Everything's all good. I've been making sure I eat and drink a lot, roughly every 45 minutes, which is about what the lap is. So every time I come back, I'll have a speedy snack and a drink, top up the water bottle, and off we go again for the next lap.
Tell you.
And bonus, it's actually drying up. It's a bit of blue sky coming through, and the wind is helping to dry things as well. So enjoying it. 6 hours, bit of a sore butt, but plenty of hours to go, and we'll be fine. Oh, the gate's not even locked. We'll close it a minute. Catch me up there. You'll recognise where we are. Sorry? I'll have some tomato sauce, please. Do you want anything, Louis? Are you recording now? So we are 8.5 hours in, 67 mile in, and it's bacon and egg roll time. My old man's just come and met us middle of the day. Look at this. Come on, Dad, bring it in. No, get on. Oh, thank you. Salt and pepper, Louis?
Yes, please.
Oh, look at that.
Service with a smile.
Can you order some teas as well, please, Dad? Right, bacon and egg rolls on a silver platter. It doesn't get much better than that. 2 teas?
3 teas. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, God. Oh, 3 teas. This is the first proper food. I've been surviving on sugar and flapjacks and not proper sustenance. But I have been eating regularly and constantly, so that is good at least. Cheers, John.
So we're merry.
So what do I think is the key to riding for a long time? Well, this is pretty new to me. This is the longest, already the longest ride I've ever done. Having someone to do it with, so my friend joined me for a fair while, and the camera guys, obviously, you know, someone to talk to is really useful and takes your mind off of the sort of the monotony of just going round and round. But also actually the route I've planned on Komoot is a really good one. So it takes in a lot of good ups and downs. So you get like respites in between the going up, which I think is actually pretty useful. My trusty steed so far for today has worked faultlessly, I gotta admit. I was a bit nervous putting XC tyres and wheels on because I know how rocky it is up there, but they've like gripped well. It is pretty muddy, but it's drying out fast. 1x12 gearing's getting me up all those hills, and some good braking. It's nice and light. Just seems to be doing the job quite well, really. So, yeah. Oh, touch wood. It stays working well because we are, like I said, only halfway, so it's got a fair old bit of mileage left to do in it yet. Anyway. sloped, I'll be honest. Still holding down a good pace on the downhills at least. We are having a much needed refuel. I need sugar, I need top up of energy drinks. I am starting to feel it now. It's not that the smile is dwindling, but like my neck and my shoulders are starting to feel it from like pulling on the bars and moving the bike around for so long, like going up and down. I reckon we're going to aim for 125. That's the target. It may be a wild target, but it's a target nonetheless. I said earlier, like the mud, the wind's drying it out, which is good, but the muddy bits has made it really tacky. So it's just, you know, like that really thick mud, it's just energy sapping in places. But yeah, we'll keep plodding on. I'm still enjoying the actual loop itself, so I quite like that. This is, you know, you got your fresh mineral water and you got your flapjacks, but you're eating out of a bin liner in the middle of the woods. So it's a balance, really. No support team there. No, but cover up the stash so no one sees it. And off we trot. Yes. Nailed it. This is the final descent of the loop, basically before we climb the whole way back to the top. And that's the bit that's been killing me, that last sort of having to climb basically from the bottom of the woods all the way back to the top at the end of the lap. There's a bit of a pig, an unavoidable pig, but a pig nonetheless. But it's fun down here. I don't know if you can see all the tiny knobbly little polished rocks on camera. They are lethal. That dot disappearing into the distance. That is my cameraman on an e-bike. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit jealous right now. We've just tipped past the 12-hour mark then, and mileage-wise, we're just shy of 100 as well. So that's gonna be a lot of personal records there. I've never ever ridden for this long. I've never ever done that many miles in one go, especially on a mountain bike in one place. So I'm pretty proud of myself so far, but be honest with you, I'm starting to feel it. I'm trying to eat loads, but there's one hill that I climb up from the bottom of the hill all the way to the very top, and every time I get to it, it's just getting a little bit harder. We're gonna smash this still. I think we're gonna do good, but first of all, I need Bakewell slices, because otherwise we're not gonna make it anywhere. Well, stick a fork in me, I am done. This is the final climb of the final lap, and I'm goosed. My legs have got nothing in them. I know that because, well, my heart rate is 109, and I can like just about turn the pedals over, so. I never thought I'd be glad to not see this again, or at least for one more time. Oh, come on. We've made it. Wow. So, that's it. This is summer solstice. Done and dusted. I was up at about 10 to 5 this morning when we set off, with the aim of just seeing how far I could go on the longest day. And I'm pretty pleased with myself, I'll be honest. I've never done a challenge like this, like I said. So this is not only the longest ride, but the furthest ride by long ways. And well, I don't know, 120 miles, which I think you'll agree is not a bad shout, but I'll be honest, I'm done. That is it, yeah, I am ready to go home. But what better place to finish? And we've got Wales in the background, we've got some stunning views. It's a bit windy, it is a bit fresh up here, but done.
You're not done though, Rich. You've got to ride home.
Well, yeah, cheers, Nick. I forgot about that. Right, well, see ya. Thanks, mate. Thanks for reminding me. We're here at St Bees. It is the middle of September. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and the seagulls are chirping away. This is the start of my coast-to-coast route challenge, and I'm thinking we're in for a couple of very good days. But before we crack on, I think it's about time we went back in time and found out a little bit more about my challenge. So yesterday we travelled up to St Bees. The starting point of my coast-to-coast adventure. I've planned a 200-mile epic. Riding from the west coast, I shall scale the Lake District, cross the spine of the country, conquer the undulating hills of Yorkshire and finish in Robin Hood's Bay on the east coast. It's a wild route. I found bridleways that will take me straight up mountains and over England's most challenging terrain. Having spent little time in the hills of the north, this will truly be a journey of discovery for me. I'd originally planned 4 days to do this route, however the producers had other ideas and halved my time, now just having 2 days to smash the entire route. So 2 days is the challenge, and it is a challenge, no time for error. It's going to be 2 very long days in the saddle, hard navigation and a battle of attrition. Luckily though, Garmin have backed me. They've made this challenge possible and have lent me the very best kit. For navigation, I'm going to be using the Edge 1030 Plus, which Garmin boasts has a massive 24-hour battery life, perfect for the challenge. Well, let's find out, shall we? And into the wilderness, so it begins. It's warm though, I like it. The challenge had begun and I felt good. Leaving St Bees, I really didn't know what to expect. But when I saw in front of me mountains, it was epic. There's a few daunting factors about this ride. Not the distance, the time it's going to take. But when you see stuff like this in the distance, it puts it into perspective that you got a big old air climbing ahead. But look how beautiful it is. 10, 12 miles in. It's a nice cruise. It's like the calm before the storm, I guess. Let's take a minute to talk Garmin then, shall we? Because battery is going to outlast me. So I'm going to see if I need to charge it at all over these next 2 days. I don't reckon I will, but even worst case, should I need to, well then I've got this real clever little Garmin power pack that attaches underneath the Garmin mount on the front of the bike and charges it whilst I go. So, winner, winner. For the time being, I was now alone. I was going into the wild where the crew were unable to follow me. The landscape was so fierce, so ridiculously dangerous and steep, hiker biking was the only option. My fear was that all of the routes I had planned would be this brutal. Yep, and I had done this to myself. So this is it then. This is the first hiker bike. I don't know how long it goes on for, this one, but it's a fair old way. Push, push, push. It's hard going. We're, what? Let's have a look. 20.37 miles in, and I've been hiker biking and pushing downhill for about an hour now. It's really taking its toll and it's really killing the average speed, that's for sure. I'd planned to average about 12 mile an hour for the challenge, so this was a bad start.
I mean, sometimes things aren't going your way. It's not too bad, but I hit a bog. That's some disc deep bogging. Woo!
Whew, there we go, that's about halfway through the day. We're just over 4 hours in. We've been just shy of 50 miles, 1,300 meters of climbing. I feel all right. I feel good, but I feel it's time to stop for some proper food now. I could do with some food, some sustenance. A quick sarnie, and I wish I could say I was back on the bike, but I wasn't.
Okay. The phrase, bitten off more than you can chew, has come into my mind here. I've just walked vertically up 800 meters. Oh, I'm really feeling it. I've been using the heart rate metrics to kind of regulate things so I don't go too into the red. But it's more hiker bike and it's stuff I'm not used to. I mean, what I can be thankful for is it's a lovely bike, it's so blooming light. Otherwise I'd be really struggling. Oh God. We're nearly near the top of this one. This is tough. This is a tough challenge.
To add to the equation, it was a scorcher, 25 degrees and no wind. A blessing and a curse, I guess. But the views from up high revealed the lakes at its most picturesque. It felt good to make some progress where I could, but it wasn't long until I was pushing again.
It's hell of a steep, this one. I don't know if that shows just how steep it is, but this is tough. I don't think we're gonna make it all today. This really does just eat into the time, unfortunately. It kills the average speed. On the plus side, it's pretty spectacular up here. That is what I've just come up. There is still a lot to go, unfortunately. But I am heading roughly up and over there. Battery life, I don't know if you can see that, but that says 62%. Battery's still going strong. Rich is not as strong. Have I got a story for you? So we've just come down from that massive mountain behind me. The Lake District is vast. I was under no illusion it was a small place by any means, but just the scale of it has caught me out ever so slightly. I've done about 4 hours pushing a bike. I don't know if this is my error on planning my route, but it's really eaten into our time hugely. We're at 60 miles and we should be at 90. The target today, well, it was about 1:15, and we ain't not making that because it's 5:10. So it looks like we're gonna have to cut this day slightly short, put in another big day tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a learning curve and some hard graft on my part, that's for sure. I've learnt a few things. But what I mean, you know, the show must go on. Gotta have fun still. Right then, it's getting towards the end of the day. It's 20 past 6 and we are behind schedule. So to try and get me back on track, we're going to put in a solid 20-mile road stint. It was the walking that's really killed us today. I spent half the day walking and it is purely like a lot of the tracks were either that steep, so you just couldn't ride them. Yeah, I'm going to try and get on track here. Hey sheeps. Welcome to Kendal. I feel like I'm going to get mullered any moment. Should I get mullered? This is Rich Payne's vlog will. James, my brother, you can have a bike. Daddy can have a bike and all he needs it. Mother, she wouldn't want one. She can have the telly. Otherwise, grab what you want. I don't know if you can see it. That's the M6 motorway, cutting right through the Yorkshire Dales. Pretty cool. About 4 miles away, I was dying, and also I've had to swap out my head torch for the 6-pack one because it ran out of battery, so gave me a chance to get a quick snack in, but it's also starting to spit with rain, so I think we really need to motor on and get this finished. 4 miles, just crush it, but the legs are suffering. .93 miles today. Man alive. Still half the battery. Crikey. That is another sun up to sundown. We start at 6. What's the time now, bud? 20 past 8.
Yeah.
That's me goosed. Ready for some good food. But it's been a good day. It's been an eye-opening day, I think, is the best way of doing it. Some valuable lessons learned. Just another war of attrition, but I enjoyed it. Stunning views, stunning landscapes. Lake District didn't disappoint. Through the Dales and onwards to the East Coast tomorrow then. 4 days recovery. Oh my God. Cool. Oh. So, day 2. Today is another 93-mile day, which I feel good for.
Tired.
I slept well. I've had my brekkie, I've had my porridge. I've done nothing to the bike, so we'll give her a drop of oil. The old girl seems to work absolutely faultlessly so far. So let's have a little look at some stats. 48% battery. That was after a 14-hour day yesterday. So this thing's supposed to have a 24-hour battery life, and that looks bob on. Now, we've got my route put in. It's on Garmin Maps, which is going to navigate me today again, luckily. And I know, unfortunately, from looking at the map, that I've got a big climb this morning. So I'm going to use Garmin's Climb Pro feature to help tackle that, because it's going to tell me how long the climb is, how far into it I've gone, how far into it I've got to go, percentage, and the total ascent. So that's really good for monitoring that you don't push too hard at the start. But we did. Let's get chipping on. So then, like I said, today is another 93-mile ride. This back-to-back pair of rides, if you like, the biggest I'll ever have done by a country mile. I'm not feeling too bad. My bottom's a little bit sore, and I suppose I'm just generally fatigued as you would be from such a ride. But otherwise, I'm in good spirits.
Cows running are funny. Lake District, Yorkshire Dales. When planning routes, here's a tip. It might say it's a bridleway. This is a bridleway apparently. I don't know how we're going to get through that lot. The hiker bike continues. Oh. The bit when I hopped onto this gravel path for about 5 and a bit miles, it was so much obviously easier, but also my average speed went up by about 1 mile an hour, which is quite a big like jump in 5 miles. You can tell like just pedaling across all these fields where it says there's bridleways, and I'm sure there are, and it's all right if you're on an horse because you've got horsepower. I've got rich power. I don't know if it's quite as powerful. Oh. 66.7 on the old Garmin scale of miles. So fair chunk into it now, and it's been some different riding today because I didn't get quite as far as I thought yesterday. We adapted the route to be a bit more efficient, I think is probably the best way of putting it today. So we've really motored along, and it's what, 2:30 again in the afternoon, where it's, like I said, 66.7. So we've made some really good progress, but we've got 4 big hills to tackle now, all the way to Robin Hood's Bay. Let us know what your favourite tea is in the comments below. I'd like to know. Mine's Earl Grey, with milk. Controversial, and sometimes I'll have a dash of sugar. 70 miles in, and I had my final proper pit stop for the challenge. What remained was the North Yorkshire Moors, a testing landscape, barren, windy, rugged, with punishing gradients.
This is a long climb, a couple of miles. The old contraption says we're going up the steepest bit, so that's good to know that it's soon over. %3 hill to end on. You want proof?
I'll give you proof.
I can't hold a GoPro anymore. The toughest one today, 33% it maxed out at, and I've stood up for most of it. Yeah, that was really hard. I thought the last climb, or second to last climb, was the toughest. I did it! Coast to coast. Oh. Robin Hood's Bay behind me, completed it. 96.4 miles today, mixture on and off road, and I'm stoked. I'm so happy with myself. This isn't another race. It's not a challenge with a hidden meaning. Nope, this is plain and simple. The West Highland Way, where it's straight up exploring, venturing somewhere I've never been to before. Somewhere beautiful, somewhere remote, and somewhere I can really get lost in. And what better day to do this on than, well, the longest day of the year. And because it is indeed the longest day of the year, I'm gonna need me a cycle computer that can go the distance with me, probably even outlast, which is exactly where the brand new Garmin Edge 1040 Solar Edition comes into its own. Find my way then through these stunning locks, these gorgeous mountains, and all this twisty trail that I'm going to be tackling on, well, yeah, the longest day of the year. I'm going to be using this, like I said, the brand new Garmin Edge 1040 Solar. And what sets it apart from the rest is, well, this is the first ever bike computer to have solar charging capabilities. Yes, it actually charges itself, which means the battery life on it will far outlast that of my own. And obviously, being the longest day of the year, it's going to be the absolute perfect tool to guide me in the right direction. And as if that wasn't enough, I've got the course already pre-loaded on here of its 155 odd kilometers, and it will work out the rough demands to do this ride. So it's going to tell me exactly what it's going to expect of me. You clever little thing, Garmin. For those of you who out there who love your numbers, I have got some absolutely astonishing ones for you. Now, Garmin claim that in battery saver mode, while solar charging as well out on rides, you can get up to 100 hours out of the battery life of one of these things. In battery saver mode, that is 42 minutes per hour gained, or when you've got the thing flat out with notifications going and things like that, navigation, etc., 20 minutes per hour. That is mental. The West Highland Way. It's about a 155 kilometre long known way snaking from Glasgow in the south to Fort William in the north. Starting in the suburbs of the city, I'll head off into the countryside aiming for Loch Lomond, where I'll weave my way up its easterly side, enjoying breathtaking views and stunning riding. From there, I'll slink my way up and through the Glencoe Nature Reserve before the final push to Kinloch Leven and then finally onto Fort William, just in time for a bonus spin and a wee dram. It is not going ideally. I've just flown in from Global Bike Festival, which was rad, and there are no signs of my bags. Bike's not here, none of my kit's here. Empty conveyor belts. Oh, look at that. Disaster. Bags still haven't turned up. It is 12 o'clock. And look, this is Glasgow Airport. Look at that. Hello? Any bags? Anyone got any of my gear? Yippee! We've got one, we're just waiting on the bike. Yes. My kit finally turned up and it was time to get ready for another beautiful epic. Right then, sports fans, 5:42. Milngavie, outskirts of Glasgow. Here we go for the West Highland Way. Well, I mean, enough with the chit chat, I think. I don't know what to say, let's get going. I think it's gonna be a good day and I'm excited to explore. I'll see you on the other side, guys. Here we go then, into the unknown. We're off the main road, we're off the main gravel tracks. You can see the hills behind, it's cloudy at the top. That's where we're heading in the distance. I'm flipping excited. 2.2 miles along this track. Let's get out there and get it done. the sun's popped his head out. Look, beautiful. So far so good. We are, oh, where are we? 20k in. Nice gravel paths, bit of single track, stunning scenery. I'm feeling real good. I'm enjoying this. Come on, buddy. Fill up the pheasant. Thank you very much, please. Whew. 490 odd meters. That's what Climb Pro's telling me. Until basically we're climbing up there. Gradient of the climb, 6%, length of the climb, 4k, and then you can see all the other climbs. There's no shortage of climbing on this route. You can see, so the graph as well, the climb is pretty mellow to begin with. But by the looks of it, hell of a kick at the end. That's what the dark red means. Big kick. The shores of Loch Lomond, everybody, in the distance. And if you think the West Highland Way is an easy peasy thing to do, think again. Look at the last poor soul that tried. God, I hope my old bear doesn't look like that by the end of it. Look how loosey-goosey it is. That's well funny. Oh, there's an active gap there. Pretty sketchy. Absolute death steps.
There's a steep, steppy climb coming up as you come onto your first lock, so I'd have a bit of a heads up for that.
I just went down the wildest bit of downhill I think I've ever done on an XC bike, dropping down into Loch Lomond, and the first big climb done, 4k. Oh, I just had a funny moment. Here's how good incident detection is, which is Garmin's safety feature, should we say, or one of many. Basically, I took a wrong turn because I got too excited. Took a hard left, hauled it down the trail, and then it was like, beep, beep, reroute. I was like, okay, bugger. So I jammed the brakes on really hard, like proper hard, because I didn't want to go any further. And obviously because of that sudden change in pace and direction, it was like, uh-oh, something's gone wrong. So it should have sent the camera guys out a thing saying that I'm not okay. Don't worry, camera guys, I'm okay. Yeah, well good. It literally just weaves up and down the side. It's really picturesque. But I'm more impressed about the buffet laid out by you guys, the cameramen here. We have bug spray, water, chicken pasta, flapjacks, and a green bowl or something or other. What more could a presenter need? You guys are great. Right, gentlemen, I will see you on the flip side. Ciao for now. Oh, those bugs are horrible.
How's the old Loch Lomond? Path looks well nice. I'll tell you what, fellas, blue sky's starting to poke his head out. I can see sunshine. Living the dream.
Alrighty then, we're doing okay. Just had a little lunch stop. So basically saw a little calf in the distance, was like, I'm just gonna head towards it. And it was lovely. And I was like, well, I don't need to worry about how to get back to the road because luckily the Garmin nav will reroute me back to my route. So I was like, all is good. Have grabbed the coat off the camera, guys, because, well, the sun has poked his head in and it's looking a little ominous. Having said that, let's have a look what battery we're on. Stay with me, people, it might be bumpy. So after 7 hours I've only used 95, 12%. 7 hours. Sadly, I still think there's probably about 6 hours to go. So, but she's solar charged and it's still nice and bright. Whole lot of weaving going on. The hiker bike bits do break up the flow, and as mountain bikers, we do love the flow. But this is adventuring, which is technically mountain biking. So now I'm just confused. Teetering on the halfway mark. It's 10 to 2 actually, so I've dropped behind a little bit in time. Do you know what the best thing about putting on a coat was? It brought the sun out, because then I was absolutely sweating my nuts off. So Mr. Cameraman now has the coat. Yeah, I didn't enjoy too much, I'll be honest, round Loch Lomond, the second half of it, because it was a lot of pushing, a lot of hiker biking, but the bike's going good. This bad boy's charging now, so what are we at? Just gain in minutes, 35 minutes gain, 81%. I started at 6 o'clock this morning with 95, so it's literally used no battery. This thing will far outlast my legs. But we should crack on really. Fort William's calling, and I know a very nice pub up there, so see ya! There's a lovely waterfall. Wow. So this is me for scale. That's where I'm heading. Look at the size of the mountain. It's in the clouds at the top. You can never deny that Scotland is just beautiful all the way through. And now we are heading right up towards the Highlands. Let's see how far we're in. 85k, so we're getting there, we're chipping away. A little behind schedule, but you know, it doesn't really matter. There's not as such a schedule, because that's all part of the fun. But I don't want to get there in the dark, so I don't have lights either. Yeah, nice. What a time to be alive! So, the West Highland Way was first thought up by an RAF serviceman called Tom Hunter back in the early 70s, I think it was, and actually finally got permission once a lot of negotiation with landowners and various governing bodies was sorted, and actually then began construction in 1974, I would say. It's pretty cool. He was a Glaswegian. I guess he really wanted to go to Fort William. Who wouldn't? You're definitely getting close to Fort Will. So now, if you're a UK downhill local or a regular, you may well notice what's behind me up there. Yes, Glencoe Mountain Resort, Glencoe Ski Resort, if you like. A lot of the time under snow, but one of the gnarliest downhill tracks out there. It's pretty cool. So we're at 12 little update, 107k. We're doing all right. My left leg, or my left knee specifically, is really hurting, and the weather is getting a little bit more questionable. The coat might have to go back on in order to bring the sunshine out, but we're not far away now. Oh no, I'm too tired. Here's Rich's #1 tip on how to ruin a perfectly good set of brand new clippy shoes in one foul swoop. Carbon soles are loving this bad boy. Oh, still all good fun and games really, isn't it? They're only shoes, I suppose, at the end of the day. because this is the biggest climb en route. So once we've ticked this bad boy off, well, there's still 3 more climbs, but it's all downhill from there, so to speak. Oh my goodness. GMBN getting their money's worth out of me today, I tell you. Do you know what, if this was normal Rich and it was under time, I would legit be trying to run up there, even though I can't run for toffee. I'd still try and run. But we're just ambling because we're cruising today. Taking in the views and the poos of the Devil's Staircase. Yes, made it. That's where we're heading. The end is sort of in sight. Well, it's not because it's still further hills on, but look at that stunning ribbon of trail. Top of Devil's Staircase, 550 meters. Glencoe back over there. Nope, there's Glencoe. Just where Joey, our cameraman's popping up. Let's go ride some downhill. Oh God. My knee is screaming at me, bud. Oh, I'm getting tired. Are you getting tired, Joey? Nod the camera if you are. Yes, I thought so. That makes me feel a bit better. See you in Fort Bill. Oh, flipping heck. Flipping heck. Do we really need more pushing? That's the last climb on Climb Pro. Whoop, 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 whoop. Stats, 0.96k long and only 45 meters of climbing. Last one off the list. Let's get it done. And here it is, the finish. End of the West Highland Way. Nice. I tell you what, let's take a seat next to this old boy and look at some stats. Come here. Right, the West Highland Way. It's been a heck of a journey. Very technical, very demanding, physically and mentally I found this one. But actually a really good fun starting in Glasgow and finishing here in Fort William. I do have some stats for you, so let's just go through them here. Total riding time was 10 hours 44. Remember, I was chilling today. It was actually really great just to see all sorts of animals, wildlife, nature, just to be out there and actually enjoy it. An average speed of 13.6k, an average heart rate of 133. Where's my total? Distance was about 147 kilometers, it says in here. But you know what? All in all, it was just well good fun. I would highly recommend it to everyone. It's really, really good ride. Have you ever wondered how many trail centers you could ride back to back? How many trails you could nail in 24 hours? Well, I have. And after EWS Tweed Valley earlier in the year in the Seven Stains area of Scotland, it did get me thinking, could I ride all 7 trail centers in under 24 hours? Now in the past, I've done some pretty big endurance epics on a mountain bike, the Coast to Coast and Trans-Cambrian Way, to name just a couple. This time though, well, the guys at Shimano have challenged me to raise the bar even further.
to test mind and body, to test the durability of modern mountain bikes to the limit and see how it holds up. So I'm going to tackle a flagship route at all of the Seven Stains trail centres in Scotland, back to back. It's a quest like none other. I'll be starting at Glentrool, then heading to Kirritree, Dalbeattie, maybe zipping up to the A Forest, heading east to Newcastleton before finishing the adventure in Glentress. Stains is the Scots word for stone, and at each trail centre there is a carving representing a local myth or a legend, and I'm going to be doing my best to keep an eye out for these big old stone carvings out there. Each loop is going to roughly be around the 20 to 25 kilometre mark, and well, it's going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours at each one. Sub 24 hours for the entire challenge. That includes the driving from each trail centre as well. Another epic challenge, well, that requires another epic steed. So let's take a look at the bike that I'm going to be doing this on. I'll be riding the Canyon Lux Trail CF9, and ain't it a beauty? Very fortunate that this thing is dripping in top-end tech. So let's take a closer look at how I've got it set up for lots of riding, changeable conditions, night and day. First up, this is a size large, with 100mm dropper, 60mm stem, 760mm bars, and 110mm out back, with 120mm up front via a Fox 34 step cast. But what about the componentry? Pretty much all the parts are stock and include a lightweight set of carbon DT Swiss wheels, and what I think is the crowning glory of this bike, the Shimano XTR 12-speed group set all over. We're talking brakes, cassette, mech, shifter, the full works. I've got it set up using their largest 1051 microspline cassette, paired to a 34-tooth chainring, which will be more than enough range to get me up and down, even when possibly going a bit loopy at the end. XTR race brakes, 160mm, 180mm rotors keep the weight down and the braking power still nice and high, even in the Scottish slop. And mounted on the bars, you'll see there's a dual lockout, so when it gets smoother, I can firm up the suspension and motor on. Specifics for this challenge? Well, lights are going to be required. So up front, there's an Exposure 6-pack Mark 11, giving me all the lumens on the bar, and on my head is a Diablo. Then out the back, the Trace Mark II. As always, there's no backpack on this ride, which means everything's on the bike or me. There's a tube, tyre levers, spare link, CO2 cartridge, all stashed on the bike neatly, then a multi-tool in my pocket, as well as bars and gels to keep me going.
Yesterday it was a long day, about a 7-hour drive up from home in Somerset. Got to the hotel last night and got settled in, just got all my gear sorted, got it all laid out, and sat down for a nice bit of food. Didn't want to overdo it and eat too much, but a wee dram of whiskey as well, just to calm the nerves, help me sleep a little bit better. And now we're en route. We're off to Glentrool, the first of our Seven Stains trail centres. We'll get the bike out, get geared up, and get cracking. Yeesh. Oh, Scotland, you beauty. But luckily we're easing in not too bad on this one. It's only a 9k blue loop. I'm feeling good at the moment, but I am a little apprehensive, I'll be honest. I'm nervous because, well, during the day it's fine, isn't it? It's like going for a normal ride, and starting off on a 9k loop's not too strenuous, but the loops get longer and they get tougher, and then you get more tired, fatigue, the weather, it all compounds and makes things pretty tough. We are against the clock, not per trail centre, but obviously it's 24 hours to do all of them and do the drives in between quickly. So we won't be fannying around, that's for sure. This is as clean, as dry as I'm going to be for the next 24 hours. Then the rain is really starting to come down, so I think we should crack on. Cue the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and we're off. See you in a bit. Oh, it's minging. Jeepers creepers. 30 metres, I'm soaked.
Oh, here we are in Glentrool. Lovely little trail centre. I am piss wet through already.
One and done to the car. Soaked through, as is our trusty cameraman behind the lens there, and that is now 23.5 hours of doom and gloom and a cold butt. And cold other things, I can tell you that too. All right, let's talk logistics a minute then. So this challenge is spread out over about 200 miles across all the trail centres. So we've got 2 cameramen, and we also have a driver driving us between trail centres. So the guys are having to try and follow me around and film at the same time. I'm not slowing down for them, because literally stop at a trail centre, bike out, hammer around, and then straight off to the next one. Just waiting for the heat. Okay, number 2, Kira Tree. Thank you very much, Nick. Let's get it on.
I think these are some of Scotland's lesser known, perhaps, trail centres. Beautiful. Oh, there's our cameraman.
I'm gonna come right at you, you're gonna have to jump.
Here we go, up the red. Whew. 2.5k in.
Having ticked off a few trail centres now, I was really starting to get the hang of the bike and really get things dialed in. I'd done some practice on it, but it's nothing until the main event you really get to know just how good the bike is. Eating up trails like a hungry flippin' badger. Yo.
Proper Scottish trail centre here. Lovely, Nice.
That were alright, that. Weren't too bad. Nice loop, real fun loop. Just shy of 17k. Way rockier, way more tech, way more ups and downs and all that gubbins. The good thing when loops are like that, your brain's always busy, so you don't get bored, which is like, can be a big thing. Mind over matter, these things. Bike's going good. 2 down, 5 to go. My trousers are falling down because of the water. Sorry, Scotland. Yeah, I think this could be the last trail centre in proper daylight anyway. I think after Dalbeatty, then we've got a bit of a drive again, then the real madness sets in.
That was fun. See you in a moment.
I found myself using every bit of tech on this bike, rattling through the gears like nobody's business, doing all I could to save my legs the best I could. On the fire tracks, I locked out the bike and really power on. Firming up the suspension made the bike the most efficient it possibly could be, and I could get all the power through the pedals, through the cranks, through the gears to motor on as quick as I could.
Oh, mega seconds. Fine bit of granite. Let's get trialsy. Oh, maybe not. Wow! Oh my god. Thank goodness for the old wide race shakers here. I'm not sure if I've gone the right way here. Skinnies aren't normally part of it.
Oh, flipping lost, didn't I? Silly Billy. Thought I'd do a cheeky road stint at the end of that one as well. That was alright though, another hour and a half. Got to a bit too enthusiastic, shot past the sign, popped up about 1.5 miles down the road. And now, yeah, well, dusk is coming, isn't it? And I reckon we got about 80k still to go, in the dark. Bazinga. Some would say there's an unpleasant aroma brewing down there. So we are at the Phoenix Trail at Maybe. I'm actually feeling good.
How do you feel going into the darkness?
That sounds quite sort of poetic almost, doesn't it? Louis, you have to go into the darkness to reach the light. I don't know what that means. Bike's going good, actually. The bike has not skipped a beat. I've not had to do anything to it, not touched it. It's not skipped a beat, changes gear fine. Everything. Yeah, it's like solid. I've just put it on the low setting. It'll last 18 hours and 1 minute. I will not last 18 hours and 1 minute. But that is exactly how long this light's going to last for, which is nuts.
Oh, maybe he's got a bit of a climb at the start. Oh, North Shore. Oh, f you. What are you talking about?
Enjoy! Have a good one!
Okay, it's getting towards that time. I think the lights, you have to go full beam and I have to get the head torch on. Ooh, headlights on. We are good to go. We're in for the long haul now.
I bet it's well dark, isn't it?
It's beyond dark. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty creepy up here.
Ah, you stood next to the white, decapitated statue woman.
I'm staying well away from her. That's not for doing in the dark. Mega creepy. Like a scene from a horror movie.
Oh, that's freaky. A bit of tiredness got me on that lap as well. I was struggling on a couple of the hills. It's like a weird lonely feeling. Before, you see for miles and miles around, and then everything just goes into about a 20-metre square sort of ball in front of you, and that's all you can see, and you hear all the weird cracklings and stuff like that. And then the speed just is like cuts down by 2/3. That was about 500 metres. That's had some horrible climbs in that one. Digging in time a little bit, I reckon. Oh man, that's tiredness right there. Okay, I've actually just had to pull over and take a little bit of a breather because I'm getting a bit tired and getting a bit scrappy. And I can feel myself about to make a mistake, so I was pushing on, I was enjoying it, all the jumps and stuff, but like, it's getting a bit dangerous. So just a quick breather, regroup. Oh dear Lord. That's my head torch about to run out shortly. What happens when you take a very wrong turn? You end up at the top of a forest downhill track. Okay, here we go then, dropping into what can be only called the Abyss. A forest downhill track at night on a down country bike. How bad can it go? Oh hell.
Perhaps Richard got lost.
Everything okay up there, Rich?
She's rather than nicely.
I can see his lights coming down through the hills now, so he won't be long.
I have just got insanely lost because the orange loops, orange arrows and the red arrows were on the same signs. I didn't read or couldn't see them very well. Ended up following the orange arrows, which led me to a forest, like national downhill track. I didn't really enjoy that loop though, I'll be honest. It was a lonely, long, draggy on loop. That's 92 kilometres in. 8:45. I'm warm and dry. I've got some clean clothes on for these last two loops so I can thaw out a bit. Hopefully my mind doesn't play tricks on me during these next nighttime loops. Maybe subordinates.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think I will. Goodbye. 10:10 at Newcastleton for another 23-kilometre loop. It's very grim here. It's eerily quiet. Oh, I know, I shouldn't have fallen asleep in the back of the van. It was about hour 10 drive, wasn't it? And it was just a bit too blooming comfortable in there, and I nodded off, and I feel a bit groggy for it now, but...
Alright, fatigue's a big problem now. And it's not, I mean, I'm tired physically, but it's 11:30 at night. I would be tucked up in bed by now.
After nightfall, the reality and danger of this quest really started to hit home mentally. At points, I was miles away from the camera crew, miles away from anything, and with very little phone signal, it seemed. Here is where I needed to keep complete faith in my own ability, but also not just in my lights, but the bike as well, to at least get me back to the van. Having a mechanical out here would not be fun.
Oi, oi, oi.
Love you. I'm back at the car, I am. You want to come on back if you can?
Whoa, okay. We're at Glentress. This is the final trail centre. This is 18 kilometres of red loop goodness. I've ridden here before, but not for a long time, and I think it's basically climb all the way up, descend all the way back down. Time is 5 to 2 in the morning.
So here we go, big climb to the top, fairly big descent back down, and then it's done.
Come on, Richard. Come on, Richard. Bring it home. Bring it home. Let's get it. Been shooting the dog for like 11 hours now.
Oh man, this sucks. I've basically just been climbing for 45 minutes. 400 metres of climbing to get to the top of Glentress. It's not the way you want to finish.
I was in the big old 51 and spinning away as best as I could. I was basically just one giant ache at this point. Honestly, I was sick. Sick of climbing, sick of the cold, sick of everything, even though I knew I was near the end. I was definitely struggling at this point.
Oh, still goes up. Come on. Ache. It's a shit.
Just come past. He's just come past, so he'll be down with you in no time. Look terrible.
I'll be with you in a minute. That was horrible. Just one massive climb up. And that just took ages.
The scraps of remaining energy were just eaten alive. Okay, bear with me. Right, it's the morning after, well, last night and actually the same morning. And we did it, we smashed the 24-hour mark. Absolutely destroyed it. But by how much, I hear you asking? 18 hours to do all 7 trail centres. So the total distance I rode across all the trail centres was 130k, with a total riding time of 9 hours and 40 minutes. So a fair amount of time in the saddle there. Climbing was 2,970 metres with a whopping 6,467, yes, calories burnt. 11 hours of darkness. I went through 4 lights, so 2 on the bars, 2 on the head, full beam all the time. I never touched the bike once. Literally not once did I do anything. I gave it to Nick, our driver. He'd chuck her on in the back there, take her out, never skipped a beat. Unbelievable testament to just how good components on bikes are these days. But yeah, we're done. Could this be my hardest challenge yet? I mean, I've done summer solstice, 30 for 30, coast to coast, and ridden around Jersey non-stop, but none of them were timed. They're all point to points. Well, this one is. It's an FKT. Now, for those of you who don't know what an FKT is, it stands for fastest known time, and similar to getting a comm on a section of trail when you're out on your local rides, it's basically timed from one point to another. The trail I've chosen, the Trans-Cambrian Way, roughly 100 miles or 164 kilometres, predominantly off-road, going from east to west Wales. And man, is it going to be tough. Starting at Knighton on the English-Welsh border, I will be going full tilt all the way across west to Dovey Junction to try and break the current record of what I can find on the internet being 9 hours and 15 minutes. I'll obviously have a camera crew with me, but I will be doing this almost entirely self-supported, so everything that I need on myself or the bike. But what is that bike? Well, let's take a look. Here it is then. For an epic ride, you need an epic bike. And now, thanks to Canyon, they have supplied this. Their brand new Canyon Lux Trail. This is the CF8 model and is a completely new bike from the ground up. Prep-wise then, I've done my research on this route, but I've never ridden it before, like I said, so I am going in completely blind, relying on the navigation on my Garmin to keep me going. Other prep-wise, well, sadly, not long before this, I sliced my bloomin' knee open riding dirt jumps, which was not fun, so I have been off the bike a bit as well, but I whipped my stitches out myself. Yes. No excuses. I think it's best we head to Knighton and let's get cracking.
It's a weird one this morning. I feel a bit nervous. Leap of faith into the unknown. And I'm finding it quite difficult to eat my porridge because of that. Because of the nerves. And I don't really get nervous. It's weird. Oh, they're hot.
I've got the bike then, I've got the Garmin set up ready to go. I'm at the beginning. There's really only one thing for it, and that is get going. See you on the other side.
Oh dear.
Okay, first big hill done. I don't know where I am. I'm 12, 13k in and already made a couple of minor navigation errors because I'm finding concentrating on going as fast as I can and looking at a map quite tricky. But hey ho, the reviews are rewarding at least.
Now, as I said earlier, for this challenge, I've got a pretty special bike, so let's take a look at it. Now, don't be fooled into thinking this is just a standard Lux with a bigger fork, because it's not. This is completely redesigned from the ground up. The rear suspension is 110mm, the front is 120 via those RockShox SIDs there with a 35mm stanchion, so nice and stiff. The reach is 480, making it about 20mm longer than the XC counterpart. This is a size large, just so you know, and also the head angle is a 67.5, that's 2.5 degrees slacker than the XC bike as well. Mental. I've had the bike then for about 3 or so weeks before this challenge, and it's given me plenty of time to get used to it and also get it set up exactly the way I want. So as you can probably see, there are some bits on here that aren't exactly stock. So let's start with the back end. We got a saddlebag. In there are my CO2 cartridges, my tyre levers, and my adapter for those CO2 cartridges. There's also a spare access battery in there because, well, you run out of battery in the middle of nowhere, that is a pain in the butt. Moving on then, let's go to the middle. Double bottles, because it's going to be a big day and you need to take a lot of fluid with you. So luckily this bike fits 2 750ml bottles in there, chock-a-block full of energy drink, because I'm going to need all the energy I can. And I've also got this Topeak Ninja multi-tool on the bottom of the bottle cage as well. Fits in there real nice and neat, so it's one less thing that I need to carry. Tube strapped on there as well, always good to take a spare tube. I do actually have puncture repair patches in my saddlebag as well, because if the tube gets a puncture I can fix that as well. Heading forwards, obviously Garmin, because I'm doing this entirely blind. I do not know where I'm going, I've not done the route before, so yeah, I'm going to need that one on there. It's the Edge 1030 Plus, muck off caps on the end, and those are tubeless tyre plugs. So if I slice a tyre I can whip them out, plug a tyre up and keep me going. Inserts on the rear, because you don't want to be getting a puncture in the middle of nowhere. It seems like a no-brainer to stick an insert in there because, well, it just helps with ease of mind, if you like, protection. Otherwise, she's pretty stock. There she is then, a pretty special bike for a pretty special challenge.
Hi, 25k in roughly now, and so far so good. The weather, I don't say is almost perfect. There's no wind, the wind turbines weren't even spinning a little bit, it was still as anything. Ooh. The sun's just popped its head up. Ooh. The sun's just popped his head up, which is perfect. So we're just gonna really motor on. Sorry if this is very shaky. I'm trying to go fast at the same time. Oh, come on, let's go. Let's go. Oh, I dropped the gate. You gotta be good at opening and closing gates, come on. Oh man, I'm alright. Gates are the bane of my life at them. Millions of gates everywhere. You gotta keep them Welsh sheep contained somehow, I guess. Cheers. Just coming up to 50 kilometers in, and we're at the town of Rhaeadr. I apologise if I've not pronounced it correctly. So far so good. I'm feeling strong still. Gates are a pain in the butt, but legs are alright. So keep on trucking.
quite a lot of climbing I've just had to do. There was one really steep one, it just absolutely zapped me. Like, I needed more gears. Well, we're getting there.
Out and out.
Keep it going, bud. You got it.
70k in. It's very picturesque. It's a shame I'm not really getting the chance to look at it.
How you feeling?
I'm just, it's starting to hit me a bit now. Surely going just the distance, the heat, the early start, and the long way still to go. But we're all good. Oh wow, that's pretty cool though. We're just coming up to 100k, and I'll be honest, I was really struggling mentally, physically as well, but I'd just been riding the same kind of terrain over and over and over, and it was doing my nut in, I'll be honest. Hold on. The problem is when you ride stuff like that, it's just so monotonous, it drives you bonkers. But now, I can see the sea, and that is a massive motivation. It's literally like changed my mindset almost, whoa, completely. Although it's still 60k or whatever it is, it's like the end is in sight, so yeah, that's a big old thing. Let's get it done. Fastest known time coming at ya.
At over 100 kilometers in, I was really struggling by this point. And to hit a climb of this size, man, I thought I was cooked. But I dug deep, stayed strong, and cracked on.
Still Dude, I wish people could feel how my body feels. Oh, dude. I didn't expect this. 110k in. It's so hard. My back and my shoulders are on fire. My brain's gonna explode, but I want to go fast. It's annoying being so competitive. I can't go any, I physically can't go any faster right now. This is it. Heart rate 162. So far I've averaged one. So far I've averaged 156 for 6 hours 20. I don't know about that fastest time. That is looking unlikely at this pace. I've literally got nothing in the tank. It's downhill from there, that's for sure. Yo!
Alright.
Alright?
How are you feeling after that?
That was, I keep thinking that's the hardest bit, and then something like that comes along and that's the hardest bit. But I don't know if that's just because I'm getting towards the end. Earlier I had a big mental boost because I was near, I could see the sea. I was like, oh sick, the end's in sight. But it's not, I've still got 50k to go. Allez! I must have seen most of the farms in Wales, man. It's a sad state of affairs. I'm so tired. I'm having to push. I'm just redlining now. I'm in the red and I'm struggling to come out of it. Oh, I know it's not far to go. I just can't. Come on, let's go. Even just getting on the bike's a hassle. There we go. Spinners are winners. As my coach used to say. Oh, come on, let's go. You got this, Rich. Oh. Oh my God, my chest. Oh, let's go. Oh, nearly there.
Yeah, dude.
Yo. Oh my Lord. We made it. Oh, I'm a bit lost for words. How you guys doing?
Not bad.
I have terrible chest pains. Wow, what a hell of a ride that was. I'm cooked. Absolutely cooked. That was flat out. I couldn't have done that, I don't think, much faster, apart from just not getting lost. My heart's like, it's like a 450 going on there. That's a wild route. Really tough. Good, a hell of a challenge. Biggest challenge yet, that one. And I can tell you, I did not break the record, sadly. So, as I said, online, the fastest I could find previously, I think, was 9 hours 15. I did 9 hours 45. But I'm pleased with that. That's a, you know, I gave it me all. I literally couldn't have gone much quicker, like I said. It certainly was an eye-opener for my body. Everything aches. In my hands. That was gnarly, mate.
Yeah, I bet.
That was a gnarly challenge.
What a dude.
Yes, boys. Big up the cameramen too. Oh, everything's gritty. Everything's grimy. Bike work to treat. I found with this challenge then, what made it so hard is I got to about the 100k mark and I was racing it up until that point. After that, I was just riding it because I was so tired. I was just enough, I couldn't push. The hills were just draining me. And I could spin the legs and just get up it, but I couldn't like push on. So that's where I think, you know, I would have lost some time. Someone's getting wet feet. Oh, this is sad times.
You guys, it's not getting too good up here, but there's no path. So yeah, it's not good.
Nominative determinism is essentially the hypothesis that people tend to gravitate towards areas of work that fit their names. Arctic explorers may have Snow in their surname, or a runner named Swift maybe. In this case though, it's Payne, which leads me to where we are today. I'm here in Conway, one of the most northerly points of Wales, and about 200 miles in that direction lies Swansea, the endpoint to this challenge. Now, we all know I love a good challenge here at GMBN, and it got us thinking, just how far can Rich ride in 24 hours? Well, there's only one way to find out. With a summer schedule so packed, taking the time out to do something like this is often pretty tricky. So here we are, end of February and going for it. 24 hours in February. Well, unfortunately, a lot of those hours are going to be in the dark, so I've teamed up with Magic Shine to help light the way, where I'll be using the Montier 6500S bar-mounted light with remote to illuminate the trail. This little beauty is going to give me, you guessed it, 6,500 lumens. And with 4 different light modes from 100% down to 10, Magic Shine reassure me that the battery can last up to a staggering 82 hours, all for 260 quid. Then, on my helmet is the RN 1500, giving another 1,500 lumens. And with the ability to run up to 11 hours, this combo is gonna be unreal when it gets to those darkest hours. And just to be on the safe side, out back is the See-Me 30 flashing away. For such an immense task, required carrying a lot of equipment, and I don't normally take a backpack, but this time I did. I chose to take the Camelback Mule Evo. With all-weather protection, it was lightweight, I barely knew it was there, and had just about the right amount of space to take everything I needed. Why North Wales then, I hear you ask? That makes absolutely no sense, especially in February. Well, when you do an epic, or when I certainly do an epic, I like to explore at the same time. I like to get out there, I like to see new places. So with a little bit of research, I found out about something called the Highland Way, an old Roman road that traversed from the top of Wales to the very bottom. The Highland Way is an ancient Roman road that used to run down the length of Wales, and to this day still exists in some form. While the original route is somewhat in debate, this ride's going to take me first through the Snowdonia National Park, then traverse the Cambrian Mountains before finally tackling the Brecon Beacons to the south. All in all, about 300 or so kilometres, around 190 miles, with over 5,000 metres of climbing in winter. Bring it on. So it is the morning of the challenge, and I wasn't really sure how to feel on this one because it's not like anything I have done before. I've done long days. This was nuts. And I don't know, it had me in mixed feelings as to, do I attack it? But I was like, no, don't do that because that's nuts and I'll never sustain that for such a long period. Can I even ride for 24 hours? Yeah, mindset-wise, I was just like, well, it's definitely going to be a case of mind over matter, because I think when you get some really dark or low points in the ride, it'll be up here that gets you through it, not your legs. The legs will just keep turning. So that was kind of how I decided to tackle it, really, just in a smiley, positive fashion to just keep on going. No doubt this would be tested over the route, so luckily I had some really encouraging messages from my family and missus, who've always been there to help keep me motivated. And even a message from my nan, who I think may have jinxed the weather.
Hi Rich, hope you don't get too wet tomorrow. I've got plenty of warm clothes. Okay, and do good, do well. Okay, take care, love you loads, bye.
That's enough of that though, Nan. It was time to saddle up and get on out there. Okay, 9:30. Conway Castle, starting, it begins. See you in a bit, see you guys. So we started in Conway and the weather was pretty minging, and the first bit of the ride was fairly straightforward. It was a bit of a road stint to get down to Betsy Code, big off-road centre, just churning out those road miles, no problem. And then this is where it was going to really kick in. We head into proper Snowdonia National Park, and I turn left off the main road. And the first climb I hit, I start going up, I get up and I cross this bridge, and then after that, it was just an unrideable mess full of these massive boulders, and basically where the weather, such bad weather we've been having, had just washed out, and it was like a stream.
Oh, this is depressing. Another big, long push-up. It's so steep, and it's so boggy that I'm just wheel spinning. And to try and ride up, it's just counterproductive and just burning energy for no reason.
Just hike a bike and push in, it was horrendous. It's kind of demoralising already. And then sort of I get past that bit, get back on the bike and things, and then the next big bit I get to, I'm riding up through
through a forest. I don't know the name of it, but I'm riding up through this forest and I get to an area, I'm following the GPS, all's looking good, and I get to this area where it suddenly opens up. And I guess forestry have been through and logged everywhere, and there's just nothing. There's no track. I'm looking up the mountain, nothing. Looking down the hill, nothing. I'm like, well, I've got to keep going.
Jeez.
Hike or bike time. And so all I could do is literally walk straight up. I'm still following the route. All I can do is just walk up the mountain. I get to the top of the mountain. Okay, well, that was annoying, but positive mindset, keep on going. And then it's like riding across a sponge for flipping ages. The ground was saturated.
Oh man. I'm basically at the top of Snowdonia National Park, and it's saturated. So much so that bike's just sunk. Standing up by itself. Feet. Woo-wee! You gotta love these challenges. I mean, it's pretty epic up here though. This is unreal, look. Just riding a massive slate mine. Look at that. Tell you, Wales never fails. I love it up here. Well, boys. Yeah, we can just chill. Let's go have a quick bite to eat. Yeah, all good. The weather's not playing ball at all. It did sort of stop for a bit, and now it looks like this. And it looks like this for the foreseeable future as well. Looks pretty grim, but I don't know, 35, 40K? Probably about 35, 40K actually. It's not too bad. Just trucking on, really. Right, can't stop. Jeez, I can't stop. Where's my pocket? Cool, see you in a bit. Sticking to the game plan, not pushing on too hard. Doesn't look very nice out there, look. Whew. I figured stopping little and often and like keeping warm. Where we are now, which I don't know where we are, is very, very windy and a very, very horrible headwind. So I thought to warm the cockles. Or whiskey was a bit much, maybe. Oh, that's hot.
What's the cockle?
Warm me cockles, isn't it? I don't know, you just say it in a Somerset accent and it sounds proper. So you got cockles not need warming? Well, they're warm now.
How's everything feeling, Rich? Everything feel good on the bike? Feeling good and looking good, my friend. You knows it. There is a bit of a headwind along the river, just kicked in. That can do one. Also, one for all of you guys. Might just be worth double checking before we get too remote that all the tracking stuff's working. So WhatsApp stuff, like the Garmin one especially for when I'm in the middle of nowhere, just make sure that's all working. I don't want to get lost and be in the middle of nowhere.
So Snowdonia was epic, very wet, more rain, pretty grim, I'll be honest. It was some challenging times riding across all the open marshy kind of land at the top, but always try and take the positives. And I think, right, okay, we'll break it down in sections. That's one mountain range done. I've ticked it off.
Richard, looks like you're closing in on back. We are there, we are parked on the high street. We have some food to you, probably.
That was horrible. That's two massive climbs, just straight up and over the mountains to get in. At the top of one of them, it was horrendous weather. It was proper, like, just sideways rain and really cold. Yeah, let's eat. I'm starving.
How far in are we now, Richard?
100 kilometers. Yeah, 100k in. I think we've just done a couple thousand meters climbing now as well. But it's time for a proper stop. We've not proper stopped yet.
or I've not proper stopped, and I feel like I need it now. I need to sort of eat, kind of regroup, reset, chip on more climbs, innit? And this is the last stop now before actual darkness sets in. Because I think once we get going after this, that's it then really, it's doom and gloom time.
Well, you can see it's definitely getting darker. I've just had my early dinner stop, as it were. I don't want to get too cold. The lights have had to go on. That Montier 6500S, primed and ready, all the lumens to keep me going. But I'm out of it. I got to keep on trucking because I want to get this done. I'll see you in a bit. Oh, I don't know if you can see me, but we're heading into darkness. It's officially the start of the night shift. And the start of the night shift is big old uphill. Someone's getting wet feet. The amount of rain we've had is nuts. I'm gonna go try and find a shallower spot to cross. Oh man, it's not warm. Eesh. Update for you. I've had to pull over because I am Hank Marvin. We are 9 hours solid moving time in. It's 5 to 9 at night. So we're near the halfway point, 3,000 meters up. But yeah, it's just hit me a little bit, so I've just pulled over. Snack it. It's very eerie up here. I mean, there's no lights. All I can hear is trickling water in the foreground somewhere. Oh man, I'm getting battered by the weather. And the first real test would come on this massive, massive hill climb. It felt like I was climbing for about an hour. I'm sure it wasn't, but it was hammering down. Just rain, just battering down. And I was there, I'd had to put another coat on because I was getting a bit cold. And I was all wrapped up. And I'm just trudging, literally just trudging up this hill, mega slow. Rain's battering down. We're chipping on nicely. There seems to be a slight obstacle in the way. Oh, hell. That's massive. All right, show must go on, find a way around. Yo, how's it going? Tough along there, bud. 9.5 hours riding time so far. It's 9:30 at night as well. 155k. We're heading somewhere, but where are we heading? It's only going to get later from here. It's going to get wild. From Rhayader then, which was roughly the halfway point, and coincidentally actually, I got to the halfway distance mark in under half the time, so in under 12 hours.
Only 12 more hours to go. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That's too mean. Also, if you're heading into thick fog right now, you're going to be getting pretty close to me and Ben sat at the top of the mountain waiting for you.
All right. Ooh. Oof, that was cold coming down there. Really cold. I need to get my coat and that on and warm up a bit. That was the first time I was properly cold coming down there off the top. It was really foggy at the top, or it was a cloud or something. Oh yeah, all charged.
It's a very dark night, isn't it? I nearly drove off the side of the mountain in that fog. Hey guys, it's not going too good up here. I am pretty lost. I'm sticking to the route on the sat-nav,
like the GPS, sorry, but there's no path. I'm just walking through grassland at the moment. It's yeah, it's not good.
Walked for about 10k. Yeah, just across a bog.
Hello.
And that was it. Brecon Beacon's ahead. Final mountain range. By no means like, oh, final mountain range, that's easy. Still a huge undertaking ahead. The weather really started closing in on the Brecons as well. Up on the Beacons is, I don't know, it's weird, but it just, the rain was just hammering down. And I was essentially just pushing up a stream. Like I was just watching the water run down over my feet. Then you get to the top and the flipping wind's picked up. So now I'm battling a headwind with the rain just battering on my face.
Oh, this is sad times. I'm pushing down some of this downhill because my wrists are just so sore. I've never had that before. Oh, here we go. Right, let's give it a go.
Borida and good morning from Brecon. Pretty much a normal day today. It's going to be cold, dark and filthy wet. But there is change in the air, I promise you. And we have a big, dirty wind coming in from the west. Enough, surely, to force those stupid enough to be out to retreat to the bar for a couple of pints and a pickled egg. Take it easy, my lovelies.
Got to about 6 a.m. and I hadn't still slept. I'd just been trucking and I did start to feel like I could feel when I was on the easier spinning parts, my eyes were like, whoa, I'm starting to get a bit tired here. And I'm with one of the cameramen at this point, and we get a bit lost again, and we're just going through these huge, like 4x4 tracks, because that is where the path went, but I didn't know it was used by 4x4s. And there's just these monstrous puddles and boggy areas again, just from the weather we've been having. Mentally, I was okay. Body-wise, like, I'd not talked about my body up till now much, because actually it'd been doing all right, but by this point, all my joints are starting to get sore just from like, you know, my wrists were really aching, my knees were starting to just throb. So we start to drop off the Brecons. We're getting down there, so we're heading towards the final stretch, if you like, to meet the rest of the crew. And we get a bit lost. I'm like, Louis, you know, this is nuts. I can't just get lost and keep going around. So we figure out a different route.
All right. Oh, done and dusted. That's 24 hours in the books. 265k. Yeah, it was rubbish. I had a bit of a hissy fit, and we had to find another way down. So I was like, this is just not fun. Just walking on boulders, basically. Yeah, and I just can't be asked at all. So I think it would be cool if we did still finish at Swansea, but I don't want to ride up there. I'm pretty cooked.
But I was like, boys, that Swansea's not far away. It's in our sights. I know we've been going 24 hours here. What do you reckon to keep going? And they were like, if you're up for it. I was like, it'd be cool to get to the end. So we kept on trucking.
Cool, we'll see you in a minute. Ooh. Sorted then. Little extra distance, little extra time, but we finally landed in Swansea.
But we'd made it to Swansea. We'd got to the beach. We'd gone from the top of Wales all the way to the very bottom in a wanna. No sleep, no change of clothes, bike worked faultlessly, lights worked faultlessly. I was like, we've done it. Body worked faultlessly until I stopped, and then basically I just seized. I was like, but it's crazy. It's crazy. There's a big one. There's a big challenge this one. It was tough, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed it after completing it. I'm only kidding. It was fun at the time as well. I love to be pushed. I love these challenges. So what brings me here to this beautiful sun-kissed beach here in northern Italy, Finale Ligure to be exact? Well, back in May, I wanted to race the 24-hour solo finale endurance race, but because of work commitments, it just wasn't on the cards and I couldn't do it. But then this showed up, the brand new Garmin Edge 1040 Solar, and it got my creative juices flowing. Garmin threw down the gauntlet saying I couldn't outlast the battery in it. And you know what I said? Challenge accepted. So with that, I needed to think of somewhere where the weather was good, the venue was stunning, and the riding was amazing, which leads me to where we are now. With a claimed battery life of up to 45 hours, this is a proper bonkers mission and far exceeds potentially anything I've done so far. And because of this, I've even drafted in the missus then to try and help keep me on the straight and narrow, as she has done in the past when it comes to racing and crazy challenges, for those moments that I might get boggly-eyed and forget to even eat or drink. Now, the course that I am going to be using for this is the 24-hour finale course. It is a legit course used every year for this event.
Starting and finishing at the Terra Rossa campsite, I'll head on to the 12k loop, which has approximately 240 metres of climbing, taking in stunning woodland single track and then out into rugged open trails, diving right down near the coast before climbing back up into the hills.
So, with the challenge then, to give myself a bit of a fighting chance, I am going to be syncing up a few of Garmin's extra bits and pieces to try and help use some of that battery life. I won't have maps running because it's a loop here and I know where I'm going, so that seems slightly cheaty to me, so that won't be happening. But I do have the XC200 Garmin Power Meter pedals connected. I will be connecting, of course, my heart rate strap. One, to use up some extra power, and also because it will help monitor how I'm getting on along the way. And then at night, I also have one of Garmin's lights, which will sync to the head unit as well to tell me sort of how much battery power and what modes I'm in and things like that, just to try and chip away at a few of those percentages as well.
Yes, that's what you need it for.
Oh, I forgot to do it.
I think you best. Do you want anything in to take with you for first lap, or are you just good with your...
I think I'll be all right. Thanks, darling. Just
your pink stuff.
Yeah, just drink. But remind me, obviously, oh my God, to eat and drink regularly, because with it being so hot, I probably just won't.
Okay.
It's nearly time to start this epic man versus machine challenge then. There is 100% on the Garmin. How's it gonna last over the coming day? The sun is blaring and it's abnormally hot for this time of year apparently. So yesterday reached 35 degrees. That can't bode well for this. The aim of this challenge was simple. It's man versus machine. Who's gonna last longer, Garmin or me?
Don't blow your brains out on the first lap.
No, we have many laps to go.
It's endurance.
Endurance, not a sprint. Bye, my darling. I'll see you in a little bit. Coming into this, expectations were mixed because I knew the Garmin had a monster of a battery already. So adding solar capabilities to that, I was like,
this thing's going to be hard going. This is going to be a tough old ride. So I knew it was going to last a long time. I knew my own capabilities and what I could sort of mentally and physically do from past rides. So I was like, well, I know I can last a long time, but I know this thing is going to be insane. So we just have to ride and see where we end up and hope for the best. But I don't like getting beaten, especially by a machine. So the Garmin says it will last up to 70 hours. I am probably not going to last that long, and my memory definitely won't. So to help me figure out how many laps I've done and try and remind myself, I'm going to put a stone down every time I come through the pits. I've done a lap. There's the first one. Let's fire off for the second. Okay, here's a depressing thought. I've just pulled over on track because I was just curious. So on this, it says with battery saver mode on, 71 hours. If I turn battery saver mode off, 45 hours still. Ugh. I'd never done the 24-hour finale loop before, so a few hours in, I was like, all right, this is actually a pretty good loop. There's like fairly good tech to it. There's some good punchy climbs. There's some long descents, some stunning views, things like that. So it had a really good mixture. However, I knew I was going to be doing a lot of laps. So I was like, well, this is still over 12K. Will it get a bit boring? Will it still have the same fun it does at the beginning? So only one way to find out on that one. Probably about 4.5 hours in. And we're doing all right. We've passed the 1,000 meters climbing mark. We're on 40K. This is a fair bit of climbing. The heat is, funnily enough, really hot. It's a different way of tackling this thing because, like I said, most stuff is point to point, timed, or against someone or something like that. This is against a machine and myself, essentially. It's my own mental will not to break. Bugger. I wondered how long it was going to be till something like this happened. Oh. Okay, I am prepared. Luckily, I've got this clever toe peak thing stashed under my saddle. So let's get fixing. Not the best space, but at least we are in the shade. Oh, come on. Whew. That's cold. Right, drama for now averted to get me back to the pits.
Do you need anything else? No double deckers, I'm afraid, but I'll find some equivalent. Bye, bye. Yeah, he's punctured, but it's fine, he's going again. He's going down the bumpy descent and he'll be 5-10 minutes, but we'll need to do a repair when he comes back.
It's 12 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. Finale Laguna's looking good. I'm feeling all right and looking good. Thanks for asking. 3 hours 45 moving, 44K, 1,100 meters climbed. It's tough actually. I just got a puncture, which we're gonna fix now, but we're not gonna change the tire. I plugged it out on the trail and the plug's looking good. So I'm gonna cut it down, top up the sealant, pump her up and crack on, I reckon. Lap number 5, coming at you.
think this is the biggest pain in the ass on the whole course, unfortunately. It's this big tree. It's fallen down. Ain't no way around it, so it's going to be many laps of crawling underneath it, but it does give my legs a bit of a break. An annoyance, but one that can't be avoided.
Oh, the bike of champions, the Orbea Oise was my choice. In fact, it was actually an Oise TR. I was going to do it on my Oise XC rig, but I was like, no, we need some comfort on this because it's a long time. So I went TR, 120 front and back, one bottle cage because it was laps coming through the pits all again. And then just on it, I didn't really carry much on me because kit-wise I went minimal for the heat. But on the bike I had like canister, puncture plugs, like tyre plugs, and then just a spare tube and a little multi-tool on there, which I did actually end up needing, obviously, because I did puncture the tyre, but otherwise it's a pretty light setup, 29, go fast, Vittoria tyres.
We have passed the 50k mark. 4 hours 20 moving, 1200 meters and 35 climbing. The sun is still shining. Yeah, we're all good. 5 laps in, feeling pretty good still.
Finale Ligure is famous for its loose, rocky trails, and this delivered exactly that. It was lots of wide open, gravelly, loose kind of turns, you know, little punchy climbs, which were quite tricky to get up because it'd be like, you know, full of this kitty litter gravel, so it'd be wheel spinning. And then in the woods, it didn't get quite as rocky. There was some bit, you know, nice, so almost loamy, like rooty bits. But yeah, predominantly this place is known for its just harsh, rocky trails. And it delivered just that.
She knows me well. Rich, eat some pasta, please. Love you. P.S. Eat it before chocolate. No promises can be made on that. I reckon this could be the 7th coming up. 6th, 7th. I was just saying, it's all kind of merged, merging into one, because it's the same lap. Monotonous. It is slightly monotonous, but I don't really want to get beaten by a machine, so I'm going to keep going.
How is said machine doing? Now it's
pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty flipping good.
Well, you can do it.
Thank you, darling.
Stupid flipping tree again.
As the ride went on, I noticed the battery life was going down a little quicker than I expected. Suspecting something was up, I checked the Garmin website and rather stupidly, turning up the backlight to full during the day just wasn't necessary, as the display uses a special transflective technology, essentially reflecting sunlight back at you to light the display. Turning up to 11 and burning battery unnecessarily negated all the solar charge it was getting. Once I changed the setting accordingly so this wasn't the case, we were back in business and there was an instant pickup in battery life gained through that solar charge, much to the dismay of my legs.
Right, and people, 7 laps in. So far so good, 1,700 meters of climbing, golly. Lap 8 laps,
I don't know if you can see the Garmin there. Let's see how our battery's looking. 62% still. Damn you, Garmin. You're a worthy adversary, I'll give you that.
Yo, how's it going? If I go on settings and go into battery saver mode, which I do not have on, battery saver mode is not on, and remember, phone synced to this, pedals are synced to it, heart rate monitor synced to it. It still says battery saver mode, 31 hours. If I turn that battery saver mode on, 50 hours.
So that's 31 more laps. And how many laps have you done already?
I've done 8 laps. It's probably not quite 31 because I think I'm a bit slower than an hour and a lap now because I'm just getting tired. So we're probably looking 25 more laps. That's a horrifying thought.
Very dark. I wasn't expecting it to be this dark. And finito. Poppet has not returned, triumphant with pizzas.
All right, 8 laps, 8 o'clock. Break time. We're into the darkness. Yeah, 8:05, look, and that's it. It's too dark to see in the woods now without lights. Like coming down then on that last lap was pretty sketchy. You definitely need lights now. Still on 57%, I think. And I looked on the saver mode, it's still like 30 hours, so plenty of time on it, that's for sure. But obviously there's no solar charging because it is now dark.
So you've added the light to see if you can get that number down a bit.
Yeah, I've added the light to try and rinse as many percents as possible, basically.
Feeling tired then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not trying to get it over and done with, but trying to like give myself all the help I can. Right, after 9 laps, I was pretty tired. And that was like the beginning of the night shift then, basically. It was pitch black. So after 9 laps, I'd felt good, but I'd struggled from a bit of exhaustion during the day because, well, the heat was tough. But you switch mindsets and you're like, well, the night shift is here, the pace is slightly slower, it cools down. So you kind of just are like, I gotta keep trying. The challenge is to try and beat that pesky Garmin. But this is where the support came in from like the camera guys and Amy, really made a difference because those guys are staying up all night as well with me and making sure, I don't go mental, I don't stop drinking, I'm still eating through the night because you hit a point and you're like, oh, I should be in bed tucked up. I don't want to eat or drink Coca-Cola and stuff like that. It's counterintuitive. So that's where the support network really comes in to get you through it.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm right. I was lap numero 9, my bambino.
Can I get you anything? Do you want?
Can I have a sandwich for you, Tom? Or a bit of that pasta, that tuna pasta you made?
You want pasta?
Yeah, please. 8.5 hours I've been moving, and it's 9:30, so we've nearly been going 12 hours. So that's not bad.
It's good going. You sound quite chipper.
Yeah, but I got a bit scared in the woods a few times.
Oh, for bears?
No bears, though. Just rustling, and I was like, what's making that noise? 2,462 meters of climbing, and yeah, just shy of 100k. That's all right. That lap seems quicker in the dark.
Yeah, because you had the rustling in the woods, you were probably pooping your pants. Yeah.
Thinking 4 laps time, it'll be daylight. That's how I'm looking at it. Won't it? 4 laps, an hour and a half, that's 6 hours. What's it now?
10, well, nearly 10.
Oh no, it's not daylight. 7. No, 5 laps.
Just keep chucking.
when darkness falls on a big ride like this, you've got to take it a little bit steadier, because you can't see the trail. You're riding in a 6 to 8 meter ball of light in front of you. So if you try and go flat sticks like you were before, ain't gonna happen, because you can't see what's coming up on the trail. And the same with that, you're also more tired. You know, you're 8, 9, 10 hours in, and then some when you keep going through the night. So you have to rein it in, otherwise you'll have an accident or break the bike or something, making a stupid mistake. So yeah, I know that I need to back it off a touch, and the lap times would show that. There was a point at about 4 o'clock in the morning where I was like, I'm not so keen on this. I've been riding at night now for 6 hours in the proper pitch black. 3 laps or so on my own, because the guys and girls, they need a rest too, so they have a nap and stuff. So you just head out, quickly stop by the pits, have a snack, and then do the same again. It got to about 4 and I was like, so over riding at night, not properly seeing where I'm going, doing the same thing. So I didn't stop. I didn't have I didn't go mental or anything like that. But I was like, this is a tough point in the ride for sure. Yeah, feeling it. Wrists are getting a bit achy and stuff, but we're doing well. We're 122k in, 3,000 meters going up. I checked out Garmin. Obviously we're not solar charging anymore. Now with battery saver mode off, I've still got 20 hours to go. If I turn it on, when I had a look, it was 31. Daylight. Oh wow, welcome to the morning everybody. To be precise, 6:55 in the morning. Oh, the night was a struggle. It was all aboard the struggle bus, front row seats. I just continuous lapping, the heat even through the night. Sound like a broken record, but it's true. Just drained, very drained. And slightly more depressing, there's still 14 hours of potential battery life on this thing. I haven't got 14 hours in me. I want to make it to 24 though, but 14. What is going on with the weather now? Now we have rain to contend with. Oh, it all went Pete Tong. So with the Garmin, it was still hanging in there strong. I was lacking, and then the heavens absolutely opened for almost like the final lap of it. And did they ever open? It was such biblical rain that the poor old camera guys, they couldn't get out and film of it because it would just destroy the equipment. We were still short of like 24 hours, and I definitely wanted to make it to 24 hours. So I just bit the bullet and did a lap, and I was like, I got so wet for it. It was like running just all the way down me, and I was like, well, actually, this is well fun in the end. This is such a good laugh because it's just ridiculous. And it was still warm, despite it hammering down, and I was drenched. So I was like, enjoy it. I'd gone a bit delirious by then, I think. But it actually turned out to be a really fun lap because it was so different to all the others.
Most fun one yet.
What, a fun lap?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was freaking all over the place.
Yeah.
Right, that was my final lap done. I need to add a stone, and I've got the perfect one. I can stay there. This one makes up for it. Right, I'm gonna head out. I'll see you guys shortly. With the 24-hour mark looming in sight, I really didn't want to head out for another full lap, as this meant another hour and a half of riding. So with that, a half lap would be just enough to get me to that 24-hour magic milestone and to the finish. But I didn't want to finish just anywhere. When in finale, it would be all too rude not to head down to the beach and enjoy the sunshine. So that's exactly where I razzed it on down to. Right. There we go then, another 24 hours of very eventful riding. The weather gods at the end there threw absolutely everything they could have at us with all kinds of weather. But you know what? It's been another good challenge. So I think it's time to stop this. There we go. Get cleaned up, because this is very unpresentable. And let's check in with some numbers, some stats and some figures to see who won man versus machine. It's stat time then for all you number-hungry people out there. So on this ride, I was out and on the saddle for over 24 hours, burning 7,941 calories, with a heart rate peaking at around 175 and averaging around the 126. The Garmin had an unbelievable 11 hours of battery life left to go. But this number was only going to get bigger now, as the sun had decided to come out and the solar charging would kick back in. I'm glad I was done.
Did you beat the Garmin?
That's a ginormous question. Man versus machine, me versus Garmin, who won? Well, as you saw earlier on, I pressed the stop button on the Garmin, so it definitely still had power, whereas I did not have any power. Yes, the Garmin got me, just about. It had 6% left on the battery, which is insane when you think I rode for just over 24 hours. I put every kind of setting going on that Garmin, even though at some points I was a bit silly and it didn't need it, with like the backlight running and all sorts. It got me. I was still stoked with how I did, my effort I put in, the laps I'd achieved, the time, the equipment, like everything. I don't think I could have done much more. So there was only really one way to celebrate, and that was with a lovely dip in the sea. Okay, done and dusted in Finale Ligure for now. It has been an insane challenge trying to compete with what is an incredible piece of kit, that Garmin Edge 1040 Solar. Oh my God! Winter in the Scottish Highlands. The dramatic backdrop for one of the toughest mountain bike races in the world.
Strathpuffer is a 24-hour mountain biker race. It's not like riding around a field for 24 hours. You have to be a decent mountain biker to get around the thing.
Done a few 24-hour challenges, including Finale, riding top to bottom of Wales. I don't really know what we're going to get, but either way it's going to be tough. I'm lapping a 13-kilometre route in extreme conditions.
Very close to a complete meltdown.
It's absolutely finishing me off. Oh my God, my chest is so tight.
Against the clock with over 500 competitors. And brutal terrain. Let's do this. The story of Strathpuffer 2023. Well, it's actually been a couple years in the making. We were down to do it a little while ago and then the old Rona hit. But here we are now, 2023, January, and it's all systems go.
The time of year, the fact it's in the middle of winter always, the first 2 weeks in January, it's dark for 17 hours. It is a mental race. It's all in the head.
But it's not just racing through the dark for a mere 17 hours. Oh no, it's a 13-kilometre circular route in the Highlands of Scotland. The terrain is gnarly to say the least, strewn with rocks, mud,
ice and bitter winds, causing temperatures to drop way below freezing. However, thanks to Garmin for supplying the Edge 1040 Solar, it's going to allow me to keep track of my stats, and the huge battery life means I won't need to charge it once during the duration of this race that both myself and over 500 fearless amateur riders will be taking on.
So yeah, the last Strathpuffer I done was 2020, and I couldn't believe I managed to take the win in solo, which was a total dream come true. Couldn't believe it. Was super stoked, and yeah, the conditions were very like this year, I think. Quite gritty again, and yeah, plenty of fun. So it was around 25 laps completed, and around about the 300 kilometres mark distance. I've got a good friend Robbie Mitchell, who I'm really excited to see out on course. So it's going to be good fun racing against all the guys.
Strathpuffer, it's a serious challenge. It's not to be underestimated. A bit of everything in there, and a lot more than just a cycle, to be honest. The last time it ran, yeah, we were in a good battle with Kyle Beattie. It was a real nip and tuck battle right throughout the night, and Kyle got me at the end. So now we're back again after COVID.
Oh, nice. Prepaid.
Right, here we are then at Strathpuffer, weirdly crouching down as we're getting our pit set up. So we've got this really cool gazebo thing set up for the outside, just getting everything pegged down before it gets dark. But it is pretty fresh, but it's not raining, so that is the main thing. So in prep for this one, we've got Amy coming along again as well. She's gonna be like my support crew.
I would describe Richard as a human trapped in a spaniel's body.
Get off!
Do you want me to elaborate more? Richard will go off like a rabbit.
Maybe went a bit hard to start with because I'm feeling it a little.
And just, he needs to know to slow it down and pace himself, because he's got, you know, such a desire to win and really do well. He needs to remember that this is a 24-hour race. So he needs to go the full distance and kind of rein it back in when he needs to, and listen to us when we tell him to eat and drink.
.30 on the dot. Racing starts at 10, so we got a bit of time. There's a rider's briefing at 10:15 just to go through everything, and that's when it kicks off. Right then everybody, for such an epic task requires an epic bit of kit. So for this, thank you to Garmin, I'm using the Edge 1040 Solar. Now you might be thinking, Solar Rich as 17 hours of darkness at this event, and you're absolutely correct, but it's not just its solar capabilities that make this thing amazing, it has actually got a monstrous battery life as well. So even in weather conditions like this, where it's going to drop to below 0 degrees, the battery in this thing will be more than enough to last the entire 24-hour duration of the event. Yikes. This race had a start like no other, a Le Mans style start where we'd have to run to our bike. Luckily, the ace up my sleeve was once again bringing Amy along for support, who was armed and ready with my trusty steed. Oh my God! Oh, wow.
Yep. And a bit huge. Cool. Cheers.
Strathpuffer, because it is just right in the kind of middle of January, you can get all the elements. You've got, you could have snow, you could have kind of sleet, ice. I think it's the thing as well is you've got the kind of punchy climbs, and it could be that little bit soggier, which can kind of zap your energy a bit quicker.
All right, we are 50k, 3 hours 34. Maybe went a bit hard to start with because I'm feeling it a little. Course is pretty relentless. Just goes up or down. There's nothing really flat anywhere. There's a lot of climbing. We've already climbed 1,500 meters, so that's 3.5 hours. It's gonna be tough the whole way. Oh man, legs are on fire. You all right?
Good to see you.
Just plodding along, doing my thing. Hey! Oh, sorry, bud. All okay?
Yeah, good.
We are well into the race and well into lap traffic coming up now, so it's cool. There's so many different types of people and so many different types of bike. Garmin's screaming at me to take food and water, but I can barely hold on. Okay, legs are definitely feeling it. Garmin's telling me, well, look, we got 91% battery, so the thing's a monster, more so than I am. Just keep spinning, 20 hours to go, just keep spinning. Rain's coming. We'd escaped it for this long. Oh, it's raining properly now. Yo, right, so it's time to get lit. So for this, Exposure have kindly helped us out where we're running 6-pack Mark 12, Diablo Mark 13. Bars, heads, that made sense. Woo, this is tough.
With up to 5,250 lumens from the 6-pack and 2,000 lumens from the Diablo, despite the darkness, my route was well and truly lit up.
Battery check, 86%. Literally far outlasting my own body by a long way. Right, peeps, thanks for all your help. See you in a bit, love you lots, bye.
There's going to be low points. It doesn't matter, supposing you go out for a 50-mile training ride, 100, 200, you go through low points. So they're going to come. Who knows if it's 3 hours in tomorrow or it's 12 or 18 hours. It's just reminding yourself that it's a low point and it will pass and there'll be a good point behind it. So yes, surround yourself with the right people and try and anticipate what's coming and just be ready for it.
Yeah, Rich isn't doing too badly now. He came in on the previous lap very close to a complete meltdown, unfortunately. I think that there was just a bout of freezing rain that had just completely got to him. So the man who never wears gloves and rides in all weathers, actually that was very close to him having a complete meltdown. He thought he was going to be sick. He was nearly in tears. And yeah, not in a good way at all. But he's come in, has something to eat, and actually when he left, he was in 5th place, and I think about 15 seconds off of 4th place. So that spurred him on to go out, I think.
Oh, it's pretty dry out, to be honest. Yeah. There's the odd puddle, like, just here and there. Please don't eat a lot, Mary. Yeah. 20 to 7. And it feels about 1 in the morning. We're not even halfway. Right, I need to get going and get some heat back in me. Everything's cold because everything's damp and wet. Can't even feel the buttons, my dropper half the time. Yodders! Right, doodles! wild conditions, I'll be honest. Probably some of the toughest ones I've had to ride / race in. But that's what makes the puffer, innit, I guess?
As I dived deeper into the race, things were getting increasingly difficult. Looking at my Garmin, I could see that my performance metrics were telling me some pretty depressing numbers, with both my stamina and stamina potential hitting an all-time low. But was still useful to know so that I didn't push on and bury myself even deeper.
The hardest part of the race is without doubt the graveyard shift, when it's 3 or 4 in the morning and it's windy and cold and wet and nasty outside, and you've got to get out your warm sleeping bag perhaps and get on your bike and go. That's when it gets a mental race.
So it's midnight, we're 145k in. This is like the tough point, I think. It gets even tougher. From now on, it just basically gets really hard. So it's hard. Now it's really hard because you start, like, you're physically tired, that's a given, but now mentally it's a challenge because you've just been going for ages. And I think to do this normally, just for 24 hours, it wouldn't be easy, it'd be really hard, but you add the word racing and a timer and you go that bit faster all the time, and that's what kills you, because you just try a bit harder than you should really. We'll see, we're chucking 10 hours to go. Just a little bit of food because I'm feeling my tummy's a bit funny.
You sure you want anything?
Just a tiny bit and some sugar. 10 to 3 in the morning, 170 kilometers in now, 39% left of battery. It's getting tougher. Each lap gets tougher. I was doing 2 at a time and having a quick break, but I'm almost having to have a quick break after every lap. So my body's just not used to just taking this kind of pasting basically. My wrists and my shoulders and my neck. Probably say that after every flipping challenge, but they're so tight and so sore. We're good, we're sitting in the 6th still. Should we crack on? Louis says yes. Crack on, darling? Poppet says crack on, she looks freezing cold. Alright, see you later. So, sports fans, it's 10 past 6 in the morning. That means we've got under 4 hours to go. Oh my God, my chest is so tight. 24-hour racing is no joke. It's way gnarlier than just riding for 24 hours at like your own pace and just chilling, doing whatever, because you just push on. It's absolutely finishing me off.
Down there.
Yeah, buddy. Very happy to be on my last lap. I'm cooked. Just little things start creeping in, so like my right knee's just like niggling away now. But it's cool. It's an experience, isn't it? Heck of a race, Strathpuffer. So there we have it then, the Strathpuffer has been done and definitely not dusted. Heck of an event, and I don't really know where to begin when it comes to summarising something like this. It's really tough. It's definitely the toughest 24-hour challenge I've done, and I think it's because it was a race as well, so I pushed that little bit harder with much higher heart rates at the beginning. The conditions were obviously pretty horrendous. You either get really, really cold and frozen, or you get really cold and wet, and we got the latter, obviously, with plenty of rain, lots and lots of mud, and still an average of 0 degrees throughout the entire event with a low of -2. Did I enjoy it? I kind of did, yeah, I'll be honest. There were some low times where I needed to be picked up by Amy, which I found really difficult, but on the whole, when I look back after these things, I think I'm really proud of myself, how I did. I'm really proud of the team. Would I do it again? Watch this space, because I can't guarantee anything there. But for all you kind of stats-hungry people out there, I thought I'd hit you with a few numbers. So in total, I did 18 laps over just a smidge over 23 hours. 214K was done with over 5,500 meters of climbing. I think it was actually a little bit more, but I need to double check. 10,000 calories, or 10,012 if you want to be really precise, calories burnt. I was a good couple stone lighter, I reckon, at the end of this one. But hey, we completed it, we did it. I came over 7th place, which I am stoked for, unbelievably happy. So there we go, another massive one in the book. So firstly, thank you to Garmin for making this one happen. Exposure as well for providing some amazing lights. The camera crew, as always, unsung heroes, they did a solid job as well. And most of all, Amy for basically looking after me the whole time.
Arizona, the Grand Canyon State, home to my latest challenge. This bare patch of desert is soon to become home to what I can only describe as the Burning Man festival of the mountain bike world. It is, of course, 24 hours in the old Pueblo. Miles and miles of arid wilderness, blistering heat in the day and potentially freezing at night. I'll be pushing myself to the absolute brink.
The best preparation they can do is put their bike on a trainer, foot from a wall, and stare at it and ride for 6 hours.
You're just on the pedals here all the time.
2,000 riders, collectively, they'll ride around 85,000 miles in 24 hours.
I'm going to tackle this high altitude challenge head on. Will I make it though? Well, stay tuned to find out.
So we are in the Sonoran Desert, north of Tucson, Arizona, at the 23rd edition of the 24 Hours in the Old Pueblo.
We've made it to 24-hour town, here we go. Amongst the mass of camper vans and motorhomes, here's our home, look. Look at this little guy, greeted with a smile every time. Welcome to Casa del Payne for the next few days. The event's been a mainstay in the super endurance world now for over 20 years, drawing in riders from all over the world. But it's not just the racing that gets people coming here. No, it's also about the festival atmosphere and the expo as well.
There's a range from very, very, very competitive pros to guys that are out here that are just gonna drink beer and have a good time.
This video then has been made possible thank you to Epic Rides, who not only organised such an epic event, but very kindly had us out here and hosted us too.
Only a month ago I raced Strathpuffer, a 24-hour mountain bike race in the Highlands of Scotland, where I faced miserable conditions, a deluge of wet weather and freezing temperatures. And this time, with a healthy dose of sunshine during the day, I'll be relying on the Garmin Edge 1040 Solar to keep track of stats, deliver performance metrics to help keep me on the straight and narrow, and deliver plenty of battery life.
The 24 Hours in the Old Pueblo has a 16-mile course that bobs and weaves its way through the Sonoran Desert. It's got 7 single-track segments, custom-built by hand for this exact event.
This is fun. This is an adventure. 24-hour races, never done that.
There is a collective thing that brings everybody together, and that's the mountain bike.
So here we go. We are registered. We're in. Another 24 hours is now unavoidable. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. Everyone's super friendly. The race doesn't kick off until 12 tomorrow, actually. There's still snow on the floor, even out here in the Sonoran Desert. What's that all about? But tomorrow is supposed to calm down the wind and actually get a bit warmer, so I think it's going to be some prime race conditions.
Are you racing?
Yeah, solo.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, so they keep telling me.
Last year the guy did 23.
Well, actually, it was 21 laps. In fact, I knew this as I actually caught up with previous men's solo winner Keegan Swenson prior to flying out. Dude, I thought who better to get some tips and tricks on how to survive this this monster of a race than yourself.
Man, there's kind of a lot to unpack here, you know? It's such a big, kind of a unique event. I think the biggest thing is going in like prepared with like, somewhat of a good fueling strategy, like knowing like kind of what you're going to eat and when you're going to want it.
What's the tough point? Where am I going to really struggle, do you think?
Around up until midnight, whatever else, you're having a great time, you're riding in the dark, and then it gets to like, 2, 3, 4 a.m. and you're just like, man, I can't do this anymore. I want the sun to rise. I'm sick of riding in the dark. Like that was, for me, that was the darkest moments. Tucson's a pretty unique place, man. The desert's pretty unforgiving. You want to make sure your tires are topped off with sealant. That's pretty important. Otherwise, you immediately just go to get punctures.
Sonoran Desert is defined as high elevation and dense vegetation. It is undeniably destination worthy. It's unique. It's like a Tim Burton-esque set. This is one of 2 Sonoran deserts in the world. The other one is in Chile.
Hazel, that's sharp. Don't kick the cactus.
It's an amazing, fragile, beautiful environment. Survives a lot of more extreme weather temperature than other deserts.
A lot of pokey stuff that can definitely go straight through your shoe, or if you put your hand down in the wrong place. Cholla is spelled Cholla. It is a little ball of hell. It has a nickname that is the jumping cactus. The barbs on the end of the spines are really good at clinging on, so you don't need to get too close for them to get some traction.
We've lost our cameraman. Turn left at the motorhome, and then when you get to the cactus, turn right. It's the 4th cactus on the left, though. Do you want me to send up a distress flare, or should you send up a distress flare even?
Can you send me a pin, please?
Really? You're that lost?
So weird.
Honestly.
Where have you been?
This is like all blacked out as well, so it doesn't even stand out. It looks totally different. I've done like 4 or 5 laps.
You were only 20 metres away.
It's an absolute jungle of RVs, pickup trucks. I've literally been like circling about 20 metres away from this caravan for like 15 minutes.
Oh mate, good work.
All right, good morning, friends, and welcome to the 23rd annual 24 Hours in the Old Pueblo, presented by Tucson Medical Center. You're about to spin lap after lap after lap after lap on the Sonoran single-track sensation.
The course starts and finishes in 24-hour town, then takes in 16 miles of Sonoran Desert. The first noticeable feature is the gas line, a 5k flat-out straight. Fast-flowing single track, then a quick pit stop past the whiskey tree for a shot of Dutch courage before tackling the final obstacle, the rock drop, the biggest feature on course, and sending you straight back to time check. Oh, you might have noticed that this isn't Amy, this is Owen, GMBN's mechanic and team soigneur.
Can't actually get them on. What noise did they send?
We start off with this really cool Le Mans style start where it's just madness.
How far is the run? Half a mile? Quarter mile. Quarter mile. Far enough.
So we're all gonna take off running towards our bikes and go as fast as we can, I guess.
What's your tactics? Run as fast as I can, grab bike, run a bit, ride a lot. Having travelled thousands of miles, done God knows how much prep, and even doing a Le Mans style start before, I was still getting those race day nerves. I was literally shitting bricks.
3, 2, 1!
Holy shit!
Right, here we go. Steady pacing required, I think. It's 7 miles. Oh my God, I nearly missed my bike. And here we go. 24 hours. I feel like that was a pretty good start, I'll be honest. For my running abilities, that was all right.
The best preparation they can do is put their bike on a trainer about a foot from a wall and stare at it and ride for 6 hours.
Effectively always on the pedals. There's no really long extended climbs. There's no really extended descents.
It's a really fast course. It should be super fast dirt.
Let's get that heart under control.
The gas line is, it is quite literally just that. So no matter what the terrain does, the trail, the road above it goes straight. Little 50-foot punchy climbs over and over again. Going down it, very steep, cruising, coasting at 20 plus miles an hour. Kind of fun when you're planning for it, very dangerous when you're not planning for it.
And everyone is still absolutely giving it the beans. I've had loads of people overtake me, which normally would bug the hell out of me. But I'm like, no, you guys go. I'm gonna listen to the advice Amy gave me and just cruise it. Hey, watch out, little one. Yo!
How many laps in are we? 3 laps in.
3 laps. Yeah. This time, at the last 24-hour race, we were like a third of the distance. You're just on the pedals here all the time. No.
Hardest bit will probably just be maintaining like a high intensity of focus.
I think it's a lot of perceived rate of exertion. I think it's a lot of, yeah, I'll be aware of my heart rate. I'll be aware of how smoked I am. I think it's more just monitoring your nutrition and hydration and closing your eyes if possible when you're not racing. What are you doing?
Looking at my Garmin, I was 4 hours in with 50 miles completed and an average heart rate of around 164 beats. The Arizona sun was still absolutely blazing mind. On my last pit stop though, I was putting on a brave face. It was only early hours into the race, yet my body was already screaming at me.
All right, so we check in. I'm big time struggling. This is the realities of racing these kinds of things. They're really hard. Like, I can't express how tough they are, regardless of your level. Oh. Not very well. I feel rotten. I don't know why. I feel genuinely awful. All right. Yeah, buddy. I'm not all right, I'll be honest. I'm having to do something I've never done on one of these challenges. I've had to pull over and just stop. I don't feel very well. My head feels like it's absolutely banging. I've got nothing in the tank. And my stomach is doing flips. It's gonna be a long, long race. I think normally in these scenarios, have a big old tablespoon of cement, harden up and crack on. But the average speed and just on it all the time, I think it's just relentless, and I just maybe struggling with the pace a bit, but I mean, you still gotta have fun, even if you can't breathe properly. 15th at the Mo. I mean, that's not bad. I was 15th out of 97. I'd say that.
Still in it.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone is going to be starting to stop soon now anyway. Yeah. I feel like because this is that'll be the last full lap before dark.
Yeah.
To capture, to have the opportunity to experience with endorphins blazing a sunset in Arizona or a sunrise in Arizona is special.
Almost getting darkish. I think it's like 7:15 is lights.
Stealing my job here.
Just filling in some airtime.
It's 5:55. Back to you, Owen.
The lights need to go on.
Okay, people. Darkness is descending upon us. Look how stunning that is. But that does mean it's time to get the lights out. So Outbound Lighting are supplying the lights for this challenge. So I've got the Hangover head torch on my head. I've got the Trail Evo mounted to my bars. A combination of over 3,000 lumens, but it's how it delivers those lumens which is really important. Beep, beep. Thank you.
To get through the night, it coincides with when most riders will dip into that dark place mentally too.
So here we go then, back into the unknown.
Night laps take on an entirely different character. The laps are only lit up by high-powered lighting systems on helmets and handlebars.
Okay, a little Garmin update for you. So, we are 5 hours 37 moving in, 111 kilometers done.
So I've heard for years that this was very Burning Man-ish. I'll be damned, it is very Burning Man-ish.
Wild. So far so good. You really got to keep your wits about you with the cacti everywhere. Like if you drift off a little bit, ooh baby, you're in for a world of pain.
How you doing? 5:46 and 4:57.
Yeah, fellas. Yeah.
There's a really cool spot, and it's called the Whiskey Tree. And you're kind of obligated to stop and take a shot of whiskey there.
24-hour race in El Pueblo.
You know, feeling great. Oh, I'm definitely.
There we go. There's the winner.
Oh yeah! The good stuff. I'm not sure that would have helped settle my stomach, but hey, it's a party here. Nearly got 160 on the clock, couple of thousand meters climbing. What's the battery like? 86%, and we're 9 hours 11 in. That sun's really helped it.
I think one of the most striking things for me last year was just it being the dead of night. You can see this constant stream of rider lights outlining the entire lap.
That's where you win in the 24, is how you can go through the night and keep it going and whatnot. So a lot of us desert rats are pretty good at riding at night because in the summertime you ride at night.
Sun, you left. Thanks, fellas.
I'd arrived at the midpoint of the race, 12 hours ridden, 124 miles complete and 6,500 calories burned. I was still surviving the race, but what happened next, I was not expecting.
10 to 2 in the morning, and I need a wee. How you guys doing, all right?
You pissing blood?
Oui, oui, monsieur.
How much?
Well, it's very red, let's put it that way. Right.
Oh, no.
Twice in a row is a bit suspect.
But you said you got a bad back, don't you?
It does, yeah, it does get bad. Why, is that related?
Your kidneys are bad.
Ah, well, here you go. Yeah, I'm still sitting in 18. 18? Oh, God. 212k in, and I've been feeling it from, like, basically the beginning, so we're off to medical centres. The Tucson Medical Centre is just down here. We're going to go get checked out, probably, well, I don't know. We'll see what they say.
Have you had this happen before?
Not the blood, pee and blood, no. That's a new one on me.
You smoke?
Nope.
Yeah, it's bad for you.
Do you know what? I never even tried it. The first time was like 50-50 mix, we'll call it.
Yeah.
This time was like 75-25.
Okay. Let's breathe normal for a sec.
So you're saying you just want like an ice pack or something?
Be riding around, I'll have to like lean back and try and just open everything up to actually get...
Where's home?
UK.
Okay. Well, this could be nothing, but like I said, I think to make sure it's nothing, because like I said, people your age shouldn't have symptoms. You need some blood tests, you know, and an EKG and possibly a chest X-ray too to make sure.
Should I just get that done at home, or?
I would get it done here now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wait till you get home.
Like right now?
Yeah. The reason being, the things that are the bad things can make you real sick and even kill you real quick.
Yeah, because I've got like 11-hour flight again. 11-hour flight.
Yeah, like a pulmonary embolus, those have a pretty good mortality rate if you don't treat it.
We'll get an x-ray of your chest.
Okay.
I'll give you a breathing treatment, see if that helps with the wheezing and the cough.
Sure. Yeah, whatever you think is best.
Your lungs don't sound too bad, but when you cough, it definitely sounds wheezy. So.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds like something's on there, doesn't it?
So we did have a few things wrong with us in the end. Acute bronchospasm, exertional rhabdomyolysis, hematuria, and it just says gross at the end. Right, well that didn't quite go to plan, did it? I didn't anticipate ending up in hospital halfway through this race. Do you know what? Unfortunately, sometimes you get defeated and it just happens. It's part of racing, it's part of competing. Essentially what was happening was I was getting really lightheaded, I was getting tight-chested, I was struggling to breathe, I was feeling a bit sick as well. And basically I'd push the limits and then I'd push past them limits. So what happens is your muscles essentially start to deteriorate, at which point they start producing excess protein and various other gunks and horribleness that go into your bloodstream, and is actually peeing blood multiple times. So that was my race done. But do you know what? In 9 hours, I still did 212 kilometers with just under 3,000 meters. So I still put in a flipping good stint. And not only that, not only was it a really fun race, but also the whole atmosphere, you know, the whiskey tree, coming through the pits, the expo, check in, check out. It was a hell of an experience. So back to feeling unwell, it correlates with what Garmin was telling me, because I looked down at my Garmin, it's like, you've got no stamina, you've got no like potential to keep going, you know, no performance potential, like you're cooked. I still technically finished the race because if you cross the line after 12, you still get that lap counted. So I finished. I don't know what place, you know, that's kind of irrelevant because this has been more of an experience than a lot of my other challenges combined. And I hope you lot out there have really enjoyed it too. 1900, the wild, wild west. Over 40 saloons full of gunslingers, outlaws and gamblers. The block? Whisky Row. Sadly, there's no longer 40 saloons. However, there are thousands of people all gathered to race, drink and have a go at the Whisky Off-Road.
The Whisky Off-Road weekend was designed to bring people to the sport.
Damn good times.
A staple for endurance mountain biking.
Over 2,000 riders come here to Prescott, Arizona, the Grand Canyon State, to take part in this Old West Festival, a mainstay in the cycling calendar, drawing in riders from all over the globe with 150 miles plus of single track, rock steady music and amazing cycling. Thanks to epic rides, I'm back at it racing again, but a slightly more subdued 50 miles this time. The event has everything from kids races, mellow 15 milers you could do with your mum, to pro category 50 mile monsters and everything in between. The main focus though is all about having fun and a good time, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. But before we get to that, I caught up with organiser Todd Sado to find out a little bit more on the history of this event.
So Whisky Row is a storied city block of bars and restaurants. It dates back to the 1800s when Prescott was the capital of Arizona, and Whisky Row had burned down twice. And the second time it burned down, when the fire had taken hold, the community picked up a bar, they rallied together, carried it across the street, and together had drinks and watched Whisky Row burn. And I feel like that set the tone for the community there forward. The Whisky Off-Road was founded in 2004, and the first year we had 200 riders, and fast forward 20 years now, and the event it filled up at over 2,100 riders.
It's a party atmosphere. Everyone's in it, and everyone's in it to suffer the same amount of time. Get some great riding, great views.
I first did this event back in 2016. I was immediately impressed with just how many amateurs are here. The trails are amazing. Like, you're racing on proper mountain bike trails that you would choose to go ride if you weren't racing.
It starts on Friday night with an epic fat tire crit. Saturday, the amateurs do the course before all of us pros then hit the trails on Sunday.
So the Friday for me is all about chilling and getting involved with everyone. However, there is the pro crit on tonight, which luckily I have managed to sideline myself for. I'm going to sit that one out because I want to just enjoy it with everybody else. But it does mean today is also packet pickup. So I'm going to go get all my gubbins, my number board, and just enjoy the ambience of the place. They obviously, they got the memo I was coming from last time. I now don't even have to go to hospital to get my drip on. I just have it straight down here.
You pissing blood?
Oui, oui, monsieur.
Make some noise for these pro women right now, come on! 3, 2, 1!
The Fat Tire Crit, it's definitely one of the more unique events on the calendar.
Friday night, all of the pros race a fat tire crit on roads, but on mountain bikes. And we have to race the exact same bike that we race on Sunday on Friday. The only thing we can change are tires.
It is very high energy, very spectator friendly, lubed deeply with alcohol.
We raced 12 laps in about a mile course, which came out to about 25 minutes, and it is full gas.
Union Street is lined with people cheering, doing hand-ups, and yeah, just put it all on the line, have some fun out there and go fast.
Pro women have just finished up. It was some flat sticks racing, so we got a bit of a gap, and then it's on to the pro men. Pro men are on course, and the pace is relentless. I would not like to be out there now. The main group's coming away. We've got breakaway rider, but I mean literally, they are flat out.
I I came out 5th, so I was happy to round out the podium last night. It was every bit as hard as I was planning on it being.
Thank you for joining us at the 18th annual Whisky Off-Road in Prescott, Arizona. We are beyond excited for you to have an amazing day on the bike tomorrow. Go get some dinner, rest up, and we will see you at the start lines on Whiskey Row.
Welcome to Saturday morning, everybody. It's time to go racing. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive. I cannot wait to get going at the same time though. I haven't ridden nothing, I've not checked out the trails.
Sunday, definitely want to shoot for that top step. I've had a lot of good races here at Whiskey. I think I've been second 3 times in a row now. So obviously it's good to be consistent, but second place stings the most.
Every time I race, I'm hoping for a podium. You know, a win would be thrilling, but it takes everything to go perfect here to secure the win at Whiskey.
Oh yeah, 35 minutes in 10k, and it's a killer. Oh. Come on.
You start out fully on single track, then you hit the infamous Skull Valley climb.
It's out and back, but it's horrendous.
It's mean. It's straight downhill, you make a U-turn.
And then got to ride back up.
Completely exposed.
And it's loose.
No shade at all.
Your other rider's coming down still.
That is where people really get exposed in the race.
Trails are definitely on the loose side. You got to be on your toes the entire time out there.
When you finally make it to the top of Skull Valley, you still have almost an hour and a half left of single track back into town.
Gritty, soulful, single track.
Cheers guys, thanks for everything. All right, good luck. Oh man, I'm fried. In a bit.
من شاركنا باب ورقان قبلنا للغريب بشي شي
What's up, everybody? I've just surpassed the 60k mark. 1,800 meters of climbing, average heart rate 163, and I've been going for 3 hours 50. Woo, baby!
Trails are extremely loose in there, so if you lose focus for even a second, you could be hitting the deck.
I'm not sure that was the best option. Not to make life too easy, I thought I'd go to the pro line to finish. Oh. Loving this, this is flat out. We're going through here about 35k. Watch this.
It's just rugged, it's chewed up, it's steep, it's got everything, it's fast.
I think whiskey requires a full mountain biker. It takes a little bit of bravery as well. I think it's really an all-arounder's course.
Brent Williams, Lauren Crystal, Kevin, Driscoll to Morrison Payne going.
What's up?
Morrison,
We're done.
I've been to Duluth, dude. That's a cold place.
Alright, the battle's finished. Thank you. You know what? I had a real good time, but I'm going to go shower, de-grime myself, if that's such a thing. And I think it's such a nice day, and there's so much still going on. People still coming across the line. We're going to get back out here. We're going to go and say hi to everyone and just enjoy the festivities.
Oh man, it's a hard day out there, but that's exactly why we do this race, is we want to suffer, we want to see how far we can push ourselves, and I got exactly that out there. So went into 4th place pretty early on, found a steady pace and thought I could reel it in. I got really close, but I'll have to settle for 4th today, and I'm very happy to be on the podium.
Yeah, honestly today was a bit of a suffer fest for me, just kind of like from the get-go didn't really have the legs. But yeah, just tried and kept at it, hoping the motor would turn on at some point. Had a few glimmers of hope out there, but they were short-lived. Even though it was a bit of a down day, it was still a good time out there.
Sublime, look. Excuse me, but what better than a hard day's racing to then be able to chill out with like tons of like-minded people. We got awesome food on the go. We've got Green Sky Bluegrass Band playing later on. I got whiskey cola. Don't know if that's a recovery drink recommended, but hey, look, it's all good. We're gonna really enjoy tonight. Bluegrass was before. It's essentially like listening to the Wurzels, and I flipping love they. Sad, baby, sad. Wrapped up on the cover with the stars above me. Can't you film the down bits where I'm smiling?
I am energy-less.
Marathon's stupid. If you want to see how I ended up like this, stay tuned, because this video, it's going to be a banger. So it's time for another classic GMBN Let's Try and Kill Rich challenge, and this time it's thanks to SQ Lab for making it happen. They've provided me with some of their finest parts to hopefully not just make me faster, but to make me a little bit more comfortable as well. But for what, you ask? You've tackled 24-hour races, you've gone after FKTs, and you've even ridden across countries, Rich. Well, this time we're going global, people. I'm going to be tackling the penultimate round of the UCI Mountain Bike Marathon World Series in Liège, France. The race I've chosen to take part in is here in the Haute-Savoie region of France, Morzine specifically. The race is 100 kilometers long with approximately 4,000 meters of climbing and even goes over to Switzerland. Yeah, I'm going to another country, people. XCM stands for Cross Country Marathon, a discipline of the UCI Mountain Bike World Series, and is essentially a massive cross-country race. With a big loop ahead of me and past marathon experience, I expected to complete the course. But in what time or what condition, I wasn't sure. All I know is I'd give it my all regardless, as it's not in my nature to do anything half-assed. Like, I want to finish as well as just do as well as I can. I don't want to put a number or a figure on it, I just want to try and go as hard as I can, I think. So 4,000 meters is not a small number by any means, but it's the Alps, and the Alps aren't mellow. So I think the severity of the climbing is just how steep they're going to be, and more than likely the length is what's going to zap it out of me. This year's been probably my busiest year with work yet, with a lot of traveling going on, obviously with World Cups and all sorts to cover, as well as back-to-back 24-hour races I've done. I've done the Whiskey Ride, which is another marathon race. On top of that, life. You know, life hasn't got in the way, it never gets in the way. There just ain't enough hours in the day, but you know, it is what it is. No matter how busy life has been then, I always find time for a cheeky ride here or there. Maybe not as structured or as intense as I'd like, but always enough to scratch the itch. And in this instance, get to grips with a new bike and new parts. Bike setup has changed pretty drastically for this race actually. I've swapped a lot of parts out, and it's actually predominantly thanks to SQ Lab, of course, for using their unique bike fitting system and their app. I was able to swap out certain parts, so bars, stem, grips and saddle, kind of all those key features that really add up to the comfort of the bike. So normal flat bars were gone, I put their 311 FLX bars on, 12-degree back suit just to kind of bring it back, and what that did is actually sort of changes pressure points on your bars. And the same with the saddle. I put the 612R saddle of theirs on. It's quite wide because I've got quite wide sit bones. When I measured them at their place, my sit bones are 15 centimeters apart, so I needed a much wider saddle, which, courtesy of them, I've got, and also their 80X stem as well. Now, I've gone for a 70mm to give me the right, you know, reach, obviously, from saddle to bars, but I haven't put it on normally. I've actually flipped it upside down, so it's almost got a drop to it, and I've slammed it a couple of spaces as well. What that's done is just given me that slightly more aggressive riding position for climbing, things like that as well. So I'm getting that weight over the front, because essentially this is still, of course, just a monstrous XC race.
How are you? Today we can see in a selection of gels on the menu. We'll be starting off with a smorgasbord of gels, followed by some delectable jelly sugar treats. When we want to move on to something a little more solid, let's get naked.
Guys in a bit, yeah?
Go off to the start line. That's it. Prep's done. Everything I've done can do this morning. Done. Bikes all sorted last night. It's set up. It's time to just go get business done, isn't it?
Right, pros are called up to their boxes. I'm in the open race, luckily, because man, I'm an old boy a bit now. So you can hear them. It's time to get organised. They're going to go off 15 minutes before myself, and then we'll get called up and we'll follow them, and then I'll overtake them all. On the lead up to the race, like the half hour before, I was nervous. And then when they called us up, I got to like the line a few minutes early, and it kind of actually was like a weird, like calm moment. So there's people like up the sides and stuff, and it was, you know, announcer going off. It was at that point I kind of gave myself a bit of a talking to. I was like, dude, you know, you're not as fit as you'd like to be. You're on a real good bike. You've got it all set up. Everything's dialed. Just do your thing. And that calmed me out. And then like all the nerves kind of went away. Whistle goes and we're off. And it's a fairly chill pace. Then we hit the first climb and flipping heck. I tell you what, they went off like croissants and berets were going out of fashion.
Right, only 6k in, 450 meters of climbing.
in 6K. We're basically just going up a ski piste.
The first part of this race has been the hardest. I've had to give myself a real mental talking to, not to get carried away and essentially try and smash it out the front, so I know I'll die in the long run.
I decided to just ride my own pace, knowing the front runners had gone off like a shot, hoping for a tortoise and a hare scenario. And with the amount of climbing on the course, felt like this was the best tactic for me. All I knew is I had to tick off the milestones.
Alright, so big milestone. First quarter done, just tipped past 20K. 1,100 meters of climbing. It's up or down here at the moment. I'm doing good at holding my pace. I'm feeling pretty comfortable, so yeah, all's good. Can't you film the down bits where I'm smiling?
The way I look at it is I try and tick off small goals. So whether you're 10K, 80, 100, whatever in, to try and keep positive, you tick off distances or milestones, and that way you're like, hell yeah, I've just done like a 25K, a quarter of the race is done already or whatever. And that was going well up to 50K, and then sort of 50K hit, and there were some big climbs.
Hey, this climb's going straight up in the of Rich. That's a horrendous climb after a feed station. Marathon racing World Cup, no joke. I'm halfway. I've had to have a quick breather. 50K. It's the severity of the climbs that are an absolute savage. They're so steep. Basically, I just need to go home and hit like the gnarliest, steepest hills over and over again. I feel drained. I did not train enough for this. 4.25 hours, 50K, 2,500 meters of climbing. Average heart rate 156. But at least I'm in the mountains and I'm still smiling. All right, let's crack on.
The halfway point in a race is always a weird one because you're like, get on, I've made it halfway. That means I've only got 50K to go. And then the flip side, like the devil and the angel are like, you still got 50K to go. Yeah, but you've done 50K, but you've got 50K to go, but you've done 50K. So you're like, mentally at that point, it's a turning point, and you could be like, holy crap, 50K still to go and this is how I feel. Or you go, right, it, let's crack on. I've done 50K, I've got 50 to go, I can do this.
I've made it to Chatel. It's so much more tempting to maybe go do park laps, but maybe not on the XC bike. I mean, look at it though. All right. Oh yes, finally. Boom. Burp, burp, burp. 60K done.
As with riding in all mountain ranges, it's very difficult not to be distracted by the views. Regardless of the tiredness, endless vistas and stunning peaks strike a wild backdrop, and the Alps were no different. It was also at this point I'd realised that with the help of the SQ Lab parts fitted, my bike was as comfortable as ever. And all I had to do was focus on keeping those legs spinning. It's very easy to get to a point where your legs are screaming, things are going blurry, your quads are just on fire, and you're just climbing and climbing these massive mountains that I'm not used to climbing. And it's at that point that, you know, regardless, your mind might be going like, just, you know, you can pull over, you can actually make this stop, you can just chill. The broom wagon's behind you. The brain's kind of got to take over, so you think of a rhythm, so you're just like 1, 2, 1, and in turn it ticks off the meters, it ticks off the kilometers, the climbing.
It's starting to take its toll quite a lot. So we're 72k in, tipped over 3,000 meters. I'm still like nice and comfortable on the bike, so that's really good. It's just the severity of these climbs is very severe. So it's not like long meandering climbs like I'd normally do. It's just up and then down. Ain't no Mendips, that's for sure. We keep trucking. This might be blurry and incoherent. I've not checked in a while because we had a bit of drama. I was actually cutting it pretty fine to the 80k time check. As you can see, much to my body's dismay, I've made it through. So that's it. 82.5 in, 17.5 to go. It's tough. It's really tough now. So yeah, that's why I've been a bit slow on the check-ins, people. This angle also might be horrendous. Last man on course.
Where are you at on course?
Last. But not been sacked off, so that's the main thing. I've made all the cut-offs. There's a big climb to come. I know that.
At about the 90k, I rounded this corner and there was like 250 to 300 or so meters just vertically, like this big wall that I had to go up there to get to the top. Like I had to, there's no other way. And that was like nearly an ending moment right there.
I am energy-less.
You good?
Oh, I'm really struggling, buddy. Oh, come on. How you doing?
Okay, yeah.
It's tough.
Everyone has pushed up this section, so don't worry about trying to ride or anything.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, come on, this is like not how I want to get to the top. It's just all aboard the struggle bus and you're just like, right, 1 foot, 2 foot, and you just... As I quite literally pushed on, faced with a slippy and rooty mountain ahead of me, the mental struggle really shone back through once more. All I could do was just keep on walking, knowing that once I'd summited, it was all downhill from there. Thankfully, I'd reached the top, leaving behind a push-up that, quite frankly, I never want to see again. But I'd beaten it, greeted by some smiley faces just not my own. That truly was a wall I had to overcome, possibly even revealing my true feelings of marathon racing.
Marathon's the stupidest thing in the world. You've done worse, come on.
But from here on in, it was all downhill.
This guy's course sweeper. He's been with me since about 50k. Hey boys! Yeah. Very nice lads. Almost motivational, I would say. But the end is truly in sight now. Oh my God, I'm stoked the end's in sight. I found this one really tough. My shoulders are just killing me, purely just because of old age, I think. But it's all tarmac basically now to the end, so let's boot it. Yeah, boy!
Once I'd got to the lake, smiley old cameraman Jack was there to greet me, because I think we both knew, like, you know, those guys have been out filming all day as well, I've been racing, and from that point you're basically like, right, that's the Techers downhill done, shoulders can take a rake, gravel track, and you're just plowing, you're just absolutely, you find like an extra bit in you to then just mash it all the way to the finish. You're just wiggling through town real quick, and then boom, the finish is there, and you're like, the biggest smiles ever. Raced World Cup and finished, didn't I? Which can be more than said for quite a lot of people. But then, do you know what? Anyone who even attempted it should hold their heads high and be proud of themselves, because it was an insanely tough race.
Oh my God, I'm a salty old dog. It was really tough. Like, I enjoyed it. There was some tough mental moments. Like 70k onwards was real hard. Just trudging along. And then they sent the brass band out for me, so that's pretty cool. So to summarise then, I got some pretty hectic stats for you. So it was 8 hours of moving time in total and 99.67k. Speed maxed out at 62 kilometers an hour essentially, and power normalized at 220. Here's one that's going to blow your bonkering mind. Max heart rate was 198, whilst I averaged for that 8 hours moving 151. And calories burnt. How many calories do you burn? No. How many calories did I burn? Quick guess in the comments down below. 5,831 calories today. Holy smokes, I think that's the most. And yeah, 4,000 meters of climbing. Look,